Down to the Most High Yah, name of Yahushua HaMashiach this day. To go John 5:39. Don't be around there picking in your nose because they going to see you now. Just let you know. Somebody leave a comment, they were picking boogers. He's a child. Christian, you like to pick boogers? He don't strike me as a booger picker. He does. You know what I'm saying? I know little Muffin like to pick boogers and eat them. You used to be a booger eater in your time? I eat them. Yeah, man. Nah, I wasn't done my thing. We caught my homeboy back in the day, though. We were grown. I think we eat boogers. I think we eat boogers. We like 18. Yeah, he was a special young man. John 5:39. He was a special young man. Search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life, and there they which testify of me. And you would not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you that you have not the love of Elohim in you. I come in my Abba's name, and you receive me not. For another shall come in his own name, him you will receive. How can you believe which receive honor one of another, and seek not the honor that comes from Elohim only? Do not think that I will accuse you. The Abba, there is one that accused you, even Moses, in whom you trust. For had you believed me, believe Moses, you would have believed me, for he wrote of me. But if you believe not his writings, how shall you believe my words? I go back to Ecclesiastes 12:9, and then Proverbs 12:1, and then Luke chapter 11. I got to finish up some of the stuff from last week. I ain't get anything last week. So we'll do it now. On top of what we were dealing with. And I'm going to weave in something that I was talking with Akish with this morning on top of it. And it still fit. And it still fit. Like I just mentioned that mystery of iniquity. See, we went over that before. You remember that? Yeah, we did that about 2 years ago. You know what I'm saying? The reason why we dealt with that, that's just what came to my mind at that particular time. But that is to prep and prepare you for what's going to go down when the beast come. Just like what we read, what Jeremiah did, what I told you like this here, man, that's why I operate like that. Jeremiah said, man, that nigga a false prophet. We need to expose him. He said, hey, man, prophet that speaks shalom, let it come to pass. If not, you know y'all ain't son it.
Was that when you tied Absalom to the son of perdition too?
Yeah, we did use that at that time. You know what I'm saying? Definitely did. He's an example. This is examples of a lot of men in that fashion. But the purpose of it is, what I'm mentioning is, if you know the word, then ain't nobody finna be running around telling you, oh, don't believe it. You supposed to already know. That's why when the Mashiach said be false messiahs and false prophets, and he said, I've told you before, because y'all don't operate like that. Come, I gotta expose him and do. You don't do that. You know what the word say. If you ain't know what the word say and you got caught up, whose fault is that? That's your fault. That's why I told you, like, we be in the word. We supposed to be in the word. If we know more about what celebrities and athletes going on more than what your God got going on, you're gonna end up ashamed. You're gonna end up ashamed, and you're gonna end up worshiping that beast. That's what you're gonna end up doing. You know what I'm saying? Ecclesiastes 12:9. And moreover, because the preacher was wise, he still taught the people knowledge. Yet he gave good heed and sought out and set in order many proverbs. The preacher sought to find out acceptable words. That which was written was upright, even words of truth. The words of the wise are as goads and as nails fastened by the master of assemblies, which are given from one shepherd. So, Proverbs 12:1. We're going to work all three of these. We pretty much done exhausted most of what we can exhaust with Proverbs 12:1. But of course, this is still stemming from what we were talking about with knowledge, because my people are destroyed from a lack of knowledge because they reject knowledge. And of course, as you learned last evening, you got two words for knowledge. You got da'ah and da'ah. And da'ah is the most serious one out of the two, because da'ah is the knowledge of God. And that's the knowledge of Yahushua. And without that, you scarred. That's why Paul said, some of you don't have the knowledge of Elohim. I speak this to your shame. If you ain't got the knowledge of Yahushua, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. You know what I'm saying? See, it's a lot of times where you can read what Paul wrote letters to them congregations, and he went off on them, and he didn't apologize for going off on them. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all niggas around here fornicating, you're lying, you don't know this, you don't know that, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. He said, when I come through, should I come through with the rod and meekness, or with the rod? You know what I'm saying? Should I come through and bash y'all upside your head because y'all in here tripping? But you know, when you do stuff like that, people get offended because you live in a very ultra-sensitive generation of weak weak-minded and weak-hearted people who get offended at every little thing, because in reality, you don't love instruction, because you don't love to be disciplined, you don't love to be corrected, and you don't love rebuke. That's not what you desire. What you desire is someone to placate you and to stroke your ego and tell you how it's going to be okay. And you're going to go to hell like that, because you truly ain't going to love y'all. Ain't no way you're going to love y'all and you don't love discipline and correction. Whoso love instruction, love knowledge, but he that hate reproof is brutish. So we didn't see, you see this here, right? Now see, pause. Let me show you something. The word brutish. Let me show you something in Psalm 92, because he said if you hate reproof, you're brutish. This is pretty much all this means. Come over here to Psalm 92. We still got Luke 11 on the side. And from Psalm 92, we'll go to 1 Corinthians chapter 2. I didn't want to make it a little simple. Something a little simple we pull out from time to time. It's a go-to move. Look at verse 5 of Psalms 92, but you can pick it up at verse 4. Psalm 92 and 4. It says this: for you, Yahuwah, have made me glad through your word. I will triumph in the work of your hands. O Yahuwah, how great are your works, and your thoughts very deep. A brutish man know not, neither do a fool understand this. So again, it goes back to a brutish man or a carnal man. He can't know these things. So a brutish man also hates reproof. Why is this the case? 1 Corinthians chapter 2. And that go back to what we were talking about. That him that is perfect in knowledge is with you. And remember, that word for knowledge was da'ah there. You know what I'm saying? That dollar, that ayin, and that hey. So that man, so now you get to know the man with raised arm sacrifice. You know, you get to know that he was hanged when you get the knowledge of Elohim. You don't got the knowledge of Elohim, you don't know that. First Corinthians chapter 2. Pick it up about verse 12. I make it 11. Matter of fact, just make that 10. 1 Corinthians chapter 2 and verse 10. Revealed unto us by his Ruach, for the Ruach search all things, yea, the deep things of Elohim. Remember how we read in John 14 last night that when the Comforter come unto you, he going to bring to remembrance everything that was said to you. He said, now we have received not the Ruach of the world, but the Ruach which is of Elohim, that we might know the things that are freely given to us of Elohim. So the Ruach of the world and the Ruach of Elohim are two different things. This is why he said you are not of the world. Therefore, the world is going to hate you. See, dudes take the world by a bad misinterpretation of Isaiah 45 when he say, and Yasharal is the world everlasting. That just because you an Israelite, you not in the world. You can be an Israelite and still be worldly. All worldly don't necessarily mean that you're doing things of the world. That mean you carnal. That's all. And to put it in the most simplistic way, it just means you're carnal. You know what I'm saying? And you got to remember, the carnal mind is enmity, is hatred against the law of Elohim. It is not subject to it, and it can't be subject to it. Be able to bring yourself under. And most people who say they in the word are very, very carnal, because they approach. If it's 2019 and you still approaching the word dealing with we Israel, you carnal and you of the world, because you concerned with worldly things. That man say, my kingdom is not of this world. If it was, my servants would fight. They weren't carnal. You know what I'm saying? They weren't carnal. Like, it's just a lot of things that's carnal. The things I hear people do that I hate hearing. I hate hearing niggas say when niggas got a problem, it's demonic possession. Like I was telling the dude I knew way back in the day, a particular congregation had told him it was okay for him to masturbate as long as he took a shower. Now, the reason why they told him this, because Leviticus 15 say when you release bodily fluid, you have to bathe. But most Hebrews would be like, see, he's under demonic attack. That nigga ain't under demonic attack. This nigga's sick. This nigga say he go in the grocery store and he his magazine in the grocery store. That's not a spirit. That nigga's sick in the head. You know what I'm saying? And he needs to deal with the unkept lust that he got going on inside his head, because that's not normal. That's like when people be like, oh, he got a spirit on him. He like to touch children. No, that nigga's nasty. You know what I'm saying? There's something wrong with his thought process. Oh, he got a lust spirit on him. That's why he sleep with all them women. No, that nigga's undisciplined and nasty. You know what I'm saying? What does that do? That allows you to buck and push responsibility off on someone else, and you never actually deal with and amend your perverse mind. Something wrong with your mind. You know what I'm saying? That's why the book say to renew your mind. Nigga ain't got no spirit on him. Hearing off a Grey Goose, you know what I'm saying? Or Belvedere, or Hennessy. That nigga's a drunk. You need to deal with, nigga, why are you trying to get drunk? In reality, what is it you trying to cover up? What is it that you trying to numb? Because you trying to numb something. And then if ain't nothing wrong with you, like ain't nothing happened to you, then nigga, you just got a problem. Something wrong with your brain that you feel like you got to do this to function. But most people, then you got something like, say, for people who are whoremongers, they could probably just shoot. Some people just lustful and just want to sleep with any and everything that they see, whether it's male or female. They just enjoy having a physical release, and they don't care who they have it with. You know what I'm saying? And some part of that, that's just part about being grown and sitting back looking at some people, it ain't that deep. Like I can remember, like, I can't understand why he who look less than me. Because you taking this nigga actions personally as if it's an indictment on you. Maybe the nigga just like to excrete a seminal fluid and it had nothing to do with you. Straight up. Some stuff ain't got nothing to do with you. There was opportunity and he nigga took it. Just because I'm a horn dog and there was the opportunity. It ain't got nothing to do with you. You take that, man, I'll tell you something, man. My people told me that a long time ago. I told you that, man. You can't take everything everybody do personally. 99.9% of the time, most stuff that people do to you ain't got nothing to do with you. It's stuff that they dealing with and they don't know how to handle it, so it comes out on that end towards you. You know what I'm saying? Look here, man. I remember I heard a dude say this a long time ago, saying man's only faithful as his options. If a man got options to sleep with a whole bunch of women, then 9 times out of 10 they will. You know why? Because a lot of dudes are not used to female attention. You know what I'm saying? If you grew up with female attention, then that's not going to impress you if you got older. But if you young and ain't too many chicks really pay you no mind, and now all of a sudden, it's kind of like how Mace and Pac put it. They were like, ain't nobody want to give me no butt when I was Mace. Ain't nobody want to give me no butt when he said when I was Mace and Bethel. Nobody wanted to do that when I was your Tupac. But now that I'm famous, now they throwing it at me. Now they don't know how to act. I can sleep with anybody I want. You know what I'm saying? And that's all that is. Because you can believe it. Like I heard a dude say this the other day. He ain't told no lie. He said if a dude 10, but if a 10 won't want him, they say he'll pick a 6 and be happy. Because if he could get a 10, he'd pick one. You know what I'm saying? That nigga took what he could get. You got a lot of women. If they could have got a real man, they would have chose one. You know what I'm saying? But this is niggas what I could get, so that's what I chose. Because if I could get one, that's what I do. You know what I'm saying? And that's what people do. And usually that comes from how you feel about yourself. You got a lot of people get high, man. I know fool well my granddad wasn't no drunk because he just wanted to be a drunk. Something happened to him. You know what I'm saying? Something occurred to you. Which made you. Like my mama said, hey, man, they made my granddad on misbehave when he was younger. Like, what you think that's going to do to his head? And you got to realize that this man was born in the late 20s. So you talking about maybe in the 40s. Hey, she pulling up. So somebody out here help her get them turned. You know what I'm saying? You got to think about that, man. You got to think about that. Like, that's what I was mentioning last night, like with people who run up on people who teaching the word and feel like they got to prove them wrong. It's something inside of you. You know what I'm saying? That make you feel like you got to do that. You know what I'm saying? Or how dudes want that attention. You know what I mean? So you got to think about all that. Verse 13. He say, which things also we speak, not in the words which man wisdom teach, but which the Ruach HaKodesh teach, comparing spiritual things with spiritual. But the natural man receive not the things of the Ruach of Elohim, for they are foolishness unto him, neither can he know them, because they are spiritually discerned. So, you know, that's what it is with a brutish man. See, a brutish man gonna hate that reproof because he's a carnal man. So when you look at, think about it. Book of Revelation, about the 19th chapter, I want to say about the 11th verse, if I'm not mistaken. It says that the testimony of Yahushua is the ruach of prophecy, or the breath of prophecy. So when he tells you in John 6:63 that the words that I speak unto you, they are ruach and they are life, and he was speaking about himself, then these are spiritual things. See, let's look at a statement he made in John chapter 3. And a natural-minded person can never receive the things of that because it's not for them. See, now a lot of dudes, when they be debating dudes, they use it as a cop-out. It ain't for you to hear. And in reality, it's the truth. But I'm not going to tell you that because it's like we try to force people to believe and see what we see. You can't force nobody to do nothing. Just like I said, you can't force no man or woman to be loyal to you. You know what I'm saying? You can't force no man or woman to love you. You can't fight that they don't want to do. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to do it, they ain't going to do it. Same token, this is John 3 and 10. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, you can make it 3 and 9. It's the same token on if somebody want to do something, ain't nothing you can do to stop them from doing it. You know what I'm saying? Because they gonna do it, because that's what's in their heart to do. It says Yahushua answered and said unto him, are you a master? Oh, I didn't read verse 9. Nicodemus answered and said unto him, how can these things be? This is when he was talking to him about being born again. This is a spiritual conversation. You over there being aggressive, Eugene? Oh, he's aggressive now. He's a little aggressive. You got to watch him. So he said, right? He said, Yahushua answered and said unto him, are you a master in Yasharal, and you know not these things? He said, I've told you. He said, truly, truly, I say unto you. Hey, Muffin. What's up, Bird? What's wrong with you? Well, your mommy just had your sister, so you'll be okay. Go. You'll go see your mommy in a little while. So he said, truly, truly, I say unto you, we speak that we do know and testify that we have seen, and you receive not our witness. So look what he said, right? He said he speaks of the things that they do know. So if you know something, that would be the knowledge. We speak of the things that we know. So let's look at something, right? But hold on. He's saying you receive not our witness. And we talked about witnesses a little bit last night. When you receive the gospel of Yahushua, you basically say that his Father in heaven told the truth. When you reject the gospel of Yahushua, you basically told him that his father is a liar. See, I don't have that verse in my book. If somebody slide their book over here, I read it to you. You got a book over here? Slide that over there. That ain't a slide. That's a little tall. Yeah, he threw me off. Right though, he couldn't have slid. He couldn't have slid it.
I know you got to get up anyway.
Yeah. I just wasn't ready. That's all. I just wasn't ready. But come over here to 1 John, right? Chapter 5, right? And look at verse 6. He says, this is he that came by water and blood, even Yahushua HaMashiach, not by water only, but by water and blood. It is the Ruach that bear witness, because the Ruach is truth. For there are three that bear record in Shamahim, the Abba, the Word, or the Debar, and the Ruach HaKadosh. These three are one. And there are three that bear witness in the Eretz, the Ruach, and the water, and the blood. These three agree in one. If we receive the witness of men, the witness of Elohim is greater. For this is the witness of Elohim, which he have testified of his Son. He that believe on the Son of Elohim have the witness in himself. So let me ask y'all this question. If he that believes on the Son of Elohim has the witness in himself, how is that possible? How can you reconcile that with the text? I'm going to read it to you again. He said, if we receive the witness of men, the witness of Elohim is greater. This is the witness of Elohim, which he have testified of his Son. He that believe on the Son of Elohim have witness in himself. He that believe on not Elohim have made him a liar, because he believed not the record that Elohim gave of his Son. And this is the record that Elohim have given to us, eternal life, and this life is in his Son. He that have the Son have life. He that have not the Son of Elohim have not life. So when he says that if he that believe on the Son of Elohim in verse 10 have the witness in himself, what does that mean? How can you reconcile that with the scripture? And it's something that we looked at last night, so that's why I'm asking you.
I was going to say this. We are in cross-reference with John 7:37, that the witness is to know him.
But he said you have the witness in yourself. So I'm really dealing with something specific that we looked at last night. Like specific.
We say you believe not on me, but him that sent me.
Yeah, neither one of them answers wrong, but that ain't what I'm looking for. Because he said the witness will be in you. So if the witness is in you, that would mean what y'all just mentioned, that Elohim himself is in you. But what does that go back to in the text of something that we looked at specifically last night?
I mean, you'll have knowledge of
That's close enough. When we read in Job 36:4 what he said, right? Him that is perfect in knowledge is with you. So him that is perfect, you have Tamaim, and then you have that Da'ah, which is the knowledge of Elohim. So him that is perfect in knowledge or has that perfect testimony is with you. This is what John telling you. This is why he say we testify of that which we have seen, and you don't receive our witness. See, in John 5, what he said? He said, John bear witness, but I got somebody greater than John talking about me. You know what I'm saying? And this goes back to when you looking at the preacher was wise, so he still taught the people knowledge. Then when you love discipline, then you're going to love that knowledge. Now, I was mentioning something else, but I don't think I got it because we had detoured on off. Then come on back to, oh yeah, we good with that. Come over here to Luke 11. And then I'm going to get some of the stuff that I didn't grab last week and interject it with everything we got going on. Luke 11 and look like I'm in the wrong place. Luke 10, my bad. Luke 10 and 1.
Sit down. Come sit.
And after these things, the Lord appointed other 70 also, and sent them 2 and 2 before his face into every city and place whither he himself would come. So pause. So let's look at that and see if you can reconcile that. He said he sent 70 men, 2 by 2, out. They went out before him, before he would come in what? Behind them. So what does that show you? In the text. They show you something in the text. So basically before...
Then Joshua sent out 2 spies.
Well, no, he was one of the spies. To spy out the land.
And then Moses definitely did it. He sent 2.
Yeah, but they were spies. He didn't send them out to teach no word, though. Somewhere that where he was going to go before he came. But this is what it says. I want you to come over to Hebrew 10 real quick. Before I even read verse 2. Eugene, you bucket? Let me make sure I got the right verse. Hebrews 10 and 1. And it says, for Torah having a shadow of good things to come, and not the very image of the things, can never with those sacrifices which they offered year by year continually make the comers thereunto perfect. Full disclosure, this talking about atonement. But he's sitting here telling you how the law is having a shadow of good things to come, and it's not the very image. Now, let's look at something else. When we read Hosea 12 and 10, what does it tell you about, right? Similar to by the ministry of the prophets. So what are we actually understanding and seeing from that? We seeing that the prophet, the same way he sent the apostles out, is showing how Yah sent the prophets and the priests out before this man came. You know what I'm saying? So Yahushua doing the same thing, that I'm sending somebody to bear witness of me before I come. So that when I come, you gonna know that I'm the one. See, let's throw an example of that in the book of Nehemiah. Oh, why you cut his head? No, shoot, I'm just asking. I ain't being funny, shoot. Why? It's just hair.
I know, but I was ready and I wasn't ready after the cold. So we're gonna work it out. But he didn't like to get a comb.
Well, shoot, I would have cut it too. Shoot, you got to fight with him to comb it. It don't seem like it's worth the hassle. Nehemiah chapter 6. Make sure I'm in the right place. Nehemiah 6 and 3. And I sent messengers unto them, saying, I'm doing a great work, so that I cannot come down. This is Nehemiah 6 and 3. Why should the work cease while I leave it and come down to you? Yet they sent unto me 4 times after this sort. That will kill all that. Slow, man, I ain't even catch your comment, man. Yeah, the college sign look like they got too many people on it, and it's making it reconnect. So I'm gonna, we just gonna roll with T-Mobile. That's what we're gonna do. So he said, then Sanballat his servant unto him like manner the 5th time with the open letter in his hand, wherein was written, it was reported among the heathen, and Gashmu said, that you and the Yahudim think to rebel, for which cause you build the wall, that you may be their king, according to these words. And you have also appointed prophets to preach of you at Jerusalem, saying there is a Malach in Yehuda, and now it shall be reported to the Malach according to these words. Come now, therefore, and let us take counsel together. So you see it in that example, Nehemiah is being accused that he sent men to prophesy him before he comes. You know what I'm saying? So when you look at it in 1 Peter chapter 1, when they talk about, the prophets by their ministry testified by the Ruach of a Mashiach that is in them, you see him sending them out 35 men, 2 by 2, but go before his face, because there has to be a witness. Why you think he's sending them what? 2 by 2? 2 or 3 witnesses. Like, people don't even pay attention to that. That's why he's sending them out 2 by 2. That witness ain't justified if he just sent one. Why you think he went with his apostle? Why you think John the Baptist went before him? Because John the Baptist one witness, Yahushua come behind him. That's the next witness along with the Father. That's 3 witnesses. The matter is established. But dudes don't pay attention to that. You know what I'm saying? It's no different than why you think he picked 12 men to walk with him. Somebody got to be able to verify this witness. Even when the apostles went out, they didn't go dolo. When Paul went out, he took Barnabas with him. I just seen somebody ask that question talking about, was Barnabas wrong? Was Paul wrong or Barnabas wrong? Wasn't neither one of them wrong. One wanted to take Luke and one didn't. But he did that so Barnabas could go over this way and Paul could go over that way, because the harvest is plentiful and the laborers are few. Both of them can't reach all these people if they together. Dude's too simple to see that. You know why? Because niggas like drama. Niggas like to see black men beefing and feel like it's got to be a beef. Paul felt like, man, you need to leave that nigga at home. You know what I'm saying? But that was y'all's doing. Dudes don't realize, man, and we going to see it by the time we get done this afternoon. Truth be told, that man ain't never had a lot of people preaching the word. Ever. I just rode by a Korean Baptist church the other day. A Korean Baptist church. Like, can you let that fathom in your mind? A Korean Baptist church? Every nationality on earth got a church, bro. There's a black church, there's a white church, there's Hispanic churches, there's Indian churches. You know what I'm saying? What other two? Who else? I'm forgetting somebody. You know what I'm saying? You go to white churches and it's dull. You go to black churches, it's emotional. I don't know what they got going on in the Korean church. You got Hispanic churches, you don't understand nothing being said. And all of them telling lies. And then guess what? You go to a Hebrew congregation and guess what you find out? I should have stayed in church. Oh yeah, Chinese definitely do. You right, Trina. Trina said there's a Chinese church. What's going on, Brother Jennings? And Brother Nabi, I ain't catching none of y'all comments. Forgive me for that. And Katina said there's a Chinese church in Chicago. What y'all in there doing? Karate? So what? So they can make racist jokes about us, but I can't. So what? Shoot, I can make jokes about it. You making a joke of my God? What you mean?
No. I wonder how that works. Because they worship white Jesus.
You know they worship white Jesus. You know they worship white Jesus. Matter of fact, I'm going to tell you how that's trash. I just heard that ABT nigga today say, see, they use that Revelation 1 out of context. Talk about his skin being bronze and his hair being. I'm like, nigga, what? In Revelation 3, the man see the same thing. Talk about himself. Whose feet is like bronze. But man is black. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, though, I'm not going to use Yahushua being black as a recruiting tool to gain you to the word. I'm going to gain you to the word with that gospel. I ain't finna try to gain you with the word that Jesus is black. Jesus is black. Okay. So what? Oh, but you know they worship a white Jesus. They might got a Chinese Jesus.
about that?
They might do. Korean Jesus, Hispanic Jesus. Yeah, they got plenty of them. They just bring a nigga from the house and paint a picture and put it on the wall. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I mock all of it because you mocking my God. And it ain't because they Christian. It's because they in their line. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot of things that brews waste their time out pointing out Christians. Nigga, y'all just as sour as them. Shoot. I don't know how a Hebrew gonna point out a Christian. You teach the same teaching every year just like they do. Oh, you're like, I hate the white man. We're gonna take the kingdom. We the people. Nigga, that's trash, cuz. That's pure trash. You know what I'm saying? That's unadulterated trash. That's when you have dudes talking about, we don't need the more deep revelation. We need practical application of the scripture. And you know what them dudes say deep revelation is? How the Holy Spirit is a woman. That's not deep. That's retarded. You know what I'm saying? That don't benefit nobody. That's not even a revelation. So let me tell y'all something, man. Just so y'all know this here, right? Do y'all know what a revelation is in the text? I just go around the room. What is a revelation in the text? A revealing? What about you? So you're just going to pick it back off your head? What about you? That what you do? What you think it is? You don't know? What about you, sir?
It's going to have to be by Yahweh.
Indeed. What about you, Lil Stanley? Look, mine! What's up with you, man? Hey, Malia. There's a chair right here for you, man. You can slide it on over there if you like. What about you, Callie?
What's going to happen in the latter days?
In the latter day. What about you, Monte? The last book in the Bible. What about you, Lisa? That's the actual definition of one of the definitions of the word. Trina just said the revealing the secrets of Yahushua. That actually is what a revelation is. If you ain't getting revealed nothing about Yahushua HaMashiach, you ain't got, dudes say that be revelation. I got a revelation in the law. Ain't no revelation in the law, my nigga.
Maybe in the prophets, but not
Not in the law, man. Ain't no revelation in that. With his fourth, it's like this here. I got a revelation from Yah that turkey is unclean. You lying. There ain't no revelation. All the things he could reveal to you, that's what he revealed to you. Like, sit there and think about the stuff that dudes say they get. Of all the things that could be revealed, he revealed it to you, turkey unclean. Yeah. And you expect me to believe that?
That's a good revelation.
And I done heard many more things that people say. But the revelation, because it tell you that, the revelation of Yahushua HaMashiach, that's how it starts. That's revelation. Because that's what Paul wrote in his epistle. He was like, I didn't receive this revelation of man, I received it of Elohim, because he's pulling back the cover, as y'all mentioned. You know what I'm saying? You got to realize something, right? We done talked about this before, so we're going to see who can know it. In the tabernacle, in the Kadesh of Kadesh, what was in there, Michael Glover? What covered up that Ark of the Covenant? What was between you and the Ark of the Covenant?
For the cherubim?
No, that's on the Ark of the Covenant. But you walk in that Kadesh of Kadesh, the veil. What happened when Yahushua died? What happened? It got real. Because now I can uncover it and remove the veil. You can come in under him. Now you can see him for as he is. Because you know what a veil does? A veil covers things up. You can't see it. Once the veil gone, you can see clearly. You can approach. You know what I'm saying? Dudes be talking about a deep revelation. Just because you see it says she when it refer to wisdom. So you feel like you got to go in there and break that down. You're really an idiot. You know what I'm saying? A special type of idiot too. But that's another conversation for another time. So let's look at somebody else who sent some people out. I think it's 2 Chronicles chapter 17. I didn't read verse 2 in Luke chapter 10, but y'all know what it says. He said, pray ye that the Lord of the harvest send laborers into his harvest, for the harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few. Now I want y'all to see how many men that the king sent out to go teach all these people. 2 Chronicles 17, give me a second, man. I'll probably pick it up at verse 5. If I can get there, we might can make something happen. Any of y'all planning on voting? You planning on? They said they need your vote, cuz. You don't want to vote for Lenny Curd?
I was trying to put for Anna Brooks.
I met the black lady who run it, Omega Allen. She ain't with no party. I think that lady like 60-something years old, but you wouldn't know it if you saw her. Because she definitely didn't. She still looked like she's probably in her 40s. The only way you know, because she got platinum hair all the way through. Oh, shoot. We was at that community meeting, man. Yeah, that lady don't look her age. She definitely don't.
Lenny Curry going to office now.
Yeah, he the mayor right now. They picked that up at 17-1. I wouldn't know who running against him. I know I had a homeboy I went to school with running against him, but he backed out the race. He probably ain't having enough bread to keep pushing that. Said Jehoshaphat, his son reigned in his stead and strengthened himself against Yasharal. And he placed forces in all the fenced cities of Yehuda and set garrisons in the land of Yehuda and in the cities of Ephraim, which Asa his father had taken. And Yahuwah was with Jehoshaphat because he walked in the first ways of his father and sought not under Balaam, but sought to Yahuwah Elohim of his father and walked in his command. Oh, please stop. Please. For the love of God. No, I wasn't talking about you. I was talking to him. That's almost bad as when niggas used to scratch their hands on the chalkboard. They still got chalkboards?
No, man. They barely got white took that out.
I don't know what they do. They ain't been in school in 21 years.
They got electronic. They got the electronic boards now.
Yeah, I
They
should
took
have.
out the dry erase board. That's my time.
Yeah, I don't.
Mike got one.
I mean, they gonna be in the good schools. I mean,
This nigga here, wow.
I'm sure Parker still got the dry erase board. I'm talking about the technology. It goes out there, you know.
I have both dry erase and.
I'm just asking. You know, I ain't been to school in a long time. I ain't got no children, so I ain't walked in no classroom, so I don't know what they got in there.
No chalk.
No chalk. Kids can't play with no chalk no more. Come home dusty, clothes all dusty.
They gonna take that dry erase out.
Upstate and urban and still have chalk.
I bet they do. They ain't gonna let that go on.
No, not in Florida.
That's wild. That's wild. He said, verse 5, right? Therefore, Yahuwah established the kingdom in his hand, and all Yehuda brought to Jehoshaphat presents. He had riches and honor and abundance. And his heart was lifted up in the ways of Yahuwah. Moreover, he took away the high places and groves out of Yehuda. Now, this is what we came for, right? Verse 7. Oh, that's Sean. What's going on with you, man? I ain't even know. I don't know that one now. He threw me off right there. He got on the high novice, so that's saying the prophet. That's what that means. That threw me off. Let's look at verse 7, because this is what we came here for. Also in the 3rd year of his reign, he sent princes even to Ben-Hail and Obadiah and to Zechariah and Nethiel and Micaiah to teach in the cities of Yehuda. And with them he sent Levites, even Shemaiah and Nethiah and Zebediah and Ashal and Sherimeroth and Jehonathan and Adoniah and Tobiah and Tobiah Levites. And with them Elishma, Yeram, priests. Now ask yourself this question. Why he sending these Levites with him? Teach that law. That's why he's sending them. But look what go on now. And they taught in Yehuda and had the book of the Torah of Yahuwah with them and went about throughout all the cities of Yehuda and taught the people. What that's how? Who son him? Who son him again? The king's son him. Just like Yahusha's son his. But guess what? How many men? Let's see how many men we sit back and look at, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 people to teach all the land of Yehuda. Now, how many people you think might have been in Yehuda? A few 100,000? You know what I'm saying? Now, when we look at the word go and went out about, the word is kabab. Or sabab, you should say. You got a samak and 2 bots. I'll leave you a moment. Samak and 2 bots. Samak and 2 bots. Notice when you see that where he sent them to go about, you see you got that bot in there, so you know you got to have the sun going on.
What word that was?
Sabab. It's for go went. Go went. That what it was. What they read. When they went about.
To grab hold, so you can be with the sun.
Anybody else?
Grab hold to be in the house. Grab hold son to be in the house.
Grab hold of the son to be in the house. Well, you got some popcorn in your face. You just got it. No, you didn't. Now you got it.
I like Rogers to like
You see, like theirs on better. Anybody else want to take a shot at that? Well, we'll go with theirs on then. So you look at it, right? It's to grab hold of the son to get in the house. What were the apostles and all these? Now remember, right? This is 16 men. Now, of course, it might have been other little Levites with them. But in reality, this is an example of the harvest is plentiful, the laborers are few. Because that's not a lot of men to go about and to teach these people. Now I want to take y'all to another place. Stay in 2 Chronicles and go back a few chapters to verse 13. Chapter 13, not verse 13, chapter 13. You got all the snacks, ain't it, man? No, I wouldn't know, man. You look like he pulling them snacks out. I ain't mad at him. Ain't nothing wrong with some little snacks. Ain't nothing wrong with little snacks. 2 Chronicles chapter 13, verse 4. Second Chronicles 13 and 4. We're gonna pull another word, and we're gonna pull the two words. We're gonna pull a word for service. And then we're going to slide in another place. And also just to mainly show that it's certain people have this labor. Certain people have to do this work or have these occupations or businesses. You know what I'm saying? Business meaning what you got going on. In the text anyway. And Abijah stood up upon Mount Zemaraim, which is in Mount Ephraim, and said, "Hear me, Jeroboam, and all Yasharal." He said, ought you not to know that Yahuwah Elohim of Yasharal gave the kingdom over Yasharal to David forever, even to him and to his sons by a covenant of salt. Yet Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, the servant of Solomon, the son of David, has risen up and have rebelled against his Lord. And there gathered unto him vain men, the children of Belial, and have strengthened themselves against Rehoboam, the son of Solomon, where Rehoboam was young and tenderhearted, and could not withstand them. And now you think to withstand the kingdom of Yahuwah in the hand of the sons of David, and you will be a great multitude. There are with you golden calves, which Jeroboam made you for gods. And have you not cast out the priests of Yahuwah, the sons of Aaron, and the Levites, and have made you priests after the manner of the nations of other lands? So that whosoever come to consecrate himself with a young bullock and 7 rams, the same way be a priest of them that all know God. See, now that's a little different. Because dudes ain't doing stuff where they making their own gods and setting up dudes to be priests. But dudes that be setting up to be priests that ain't got no business preaching no word. You know what I'm saying? Because the book say the priest's lips to keep what? Knowledge. So the da'as ought to be in the priest's lips. Meaning that priest should be able to expound the experience or the knowing or the knowledge of the covenant of sacrifice if he's a priest. I know dudes right now that say they high priest right now. And I'm like, how? How you a high priest? How many high priests were in Yasharal? One. There were not multiple high priests. There was only one at a time. And if you saying you a high priest, you're going to have to prove that you a son of Aaron. When you read the book of Nehemiah or the book of Ezra, whichever one it was, I want to say Ezra. It was Ezra. When them boys couldn't prove that they was of the tribe of Levi, and they say, y'all done polluted the priesthood, and they put him out and wouldn't let him do the service. But see, the reason now, it don't matter if you, because a lot of people see that. You got to be Levite. That's how you know dudes don't know the gospel. Because if you talking about anything that's dealing with the Levitical priesthood right now, then you spiritually inept. You don't understand. You don't know what you're talking about. I ain't going to say you stupid or you dumb. You just grossly uninformed. Because now you're under the priesthood of Melchizedek, and tribes mean nothing. Sons of Aaron and Levites mean nothing. So it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? You can be a priest irregardless of what tribe you're a part of. It doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? But that's another comment. We could even take what we're looking at with the with the princes, like the king sending the princes, because you could look at the king being Yahusha, the princes being the apostles, and the apostles sending those priests or sending the men out who they sent to teach the word. And I'm using that to lead up to this. Come over here to Titus, the epistle of Titus, chapter 1. And then after that, I want to say Acts chapter 14. Titus chapter 1, probably about verse 3. Make it to verse 2. We can make it 1. Titus 1 and 1. Get a hold of yourself, son. Get a hold of yourself. Don't jack him for his popcorn. There's plenty to go around. Clearly you don't care. You're a rough one, aren't you? Your brother doesn't seem to mind. Paul, a servant of Elohim and an apostle of Yahushua HaMashiach, according to the faith of Elohim's elect and the acknowledging of the truth, which is after godliness, in hope of eternal life, which Elohim that cannot lie promised before the world began, but having due times manifested his word through preaching, which is committed unto me according to the commandment of Elohim our Savior. So you see how is the gospel imparted? It's imparted through preaching. It's not imparted through dancing. It ain't imparted through singing. It ain't imparted through rapping. It ain't imparted through none of that. And you're not going to pull or save nobody with none of those things. I'll read that verse again. He say, but having due times manifested his word through preaching. That's why he say the preaching of the stake is foolishness to those that perish. You know what I'm saying? The only way you're going to be saved is through preaching, and that's it. Because guess what? Faith don't come by hearing a song. Faith don't come by seeing a dance. Like, I've never seen praise dancing live before, but I'll probably get up and walk out. I'm not here to be entertained.
When you go to church, you are.
No, I'm not.
You're not being there to get your soul saved.
I'm about to say in church,
Oh, I'm just saying for me, I'm coming for the word. So if I'm being entertained, I could have stayed home. Shoot. I could have watched many things on television to be entertained.
yeah, church.
Clearly. You know what I'm saying? Because if I see niggas dancing, flowing around with ribbons, I'm finna dip. This is not of the Lord. This is not work. This is not how this works. Don't take that. We'll do that at art. Don't do that with the Lord. And I know they probably try to take it and say, well, David danced out his clothes. That ain't even no praise dancing, nigga.
Yeah, my friend has seen a dance like that.
Mm-hmm. But all I see is women in leotards with all their business in the street.
Oh, they don't wear leotards.
They be covered.
Shoot, I done seen some women with straight dancer clothes on television with them things.
They be covered. I don't know what church you see.
I just seen it on
They
television.
be covered.
What they be having on?
They have on full dresses, long sleeves.
Yeah.
They hood church.
Yeah, they be having on long clothes like they about to get baptized.
Yeah, that's probably why people ask me what type of clothes they got to wear when they get baptized. I'm like, there's no special garments. Shoot, them people got baptized with whatever they had on right then. You know, but that's the difference now is, you know, you can prepare for your baptism now. When then them boys were coming through and they were like, well, shoot, what's stopping me? Shoot, nothing. They can water right here. And they went and did it right in there on the spot. You know what I'm saying? But I can understand that because you're looking at it, it's a large, great moment. But if any of y'all didn't know, y'all don't care. You know what I'm saying? He wouldn't care what you had on. You know what I'm saying? Unless it was something that he don't rock with. Unless you cross-dressing or wearing stuff, you got a linen pants and a wool sweater on. Why you would wear that, I don't know. But no, because you know, like for me, that's common sense to say when he say don't mix linen and wool. Like, why would you mix linen and wool? Those two things sound like they don't go together. One's heavy, one's light. One's breathable, one's not. One caresses your skin, the other scratches it. Yeah, you ain't never seen nobody wear a wool sweater with nothing up underneath. Verse 4 though. He say, Titus, my own son, after the common faith, grace and mercy and peace from Elohim, Abba, and the Lord Yahushua HaMashiach, our Savior. He say, for this cause left I you in Crete, that you should set in order the things that are wanting and ordain elders in every city as I appointed you. If any be blameless, and the husband of one wife, having faithful children, not accused of riot or unruly, For a bishop must be blameless, as the steward of Elohim. Paul, what did Paul say a steward got to be found to be? Faithful. So if you're going to be a bishop, you have to, as steward of Elohim, you got to be a faithful individual. We say you can't be self-willed, not soon angry, not given to wine, no striker, and not given to filthy lucre. But a lover of hospitality, a lover of good men, sober, just, kadash, and temperate. Then he says, holding fast the faithful word as he's been taught, that he may be able by sound doctrine to both exhort and convince the gainsayers. So an individual who say, because you got a lot of people teaching the word, one, it says the faithful word is they've been what? Taught. So somebody would have to be able to teach. Now hold on, he said the faithful word, right? Let Paul just look at something in Revelation 3 and 14 and we come right back. Because I just want you to hear something that Hamashiach say, because he is the word made flesh. So I just want y'all to hear something that he said. We read it last night too. It's just verse 14 in Revelation 3. That's all we want. We don't want nothing else. He said, unto the Malachim of the house of the Laodiceans, right? These things saith the Amen, the faithful and true witness, the beginning of the creation of Elohim. Now, come on back, right? He said that gospel is faithful, correct? So that means that's that faithful witness like we were talking about in John's epistle, which is him that is perfect in knowledge is with you. So somebody had to teach you the gospel for you to say you a bishop, you an elder, you a pastor. Even if you a minister. Let's look at what he said to Timothy in regards to this. 1 Timothy chapter 3, but we ain't reading all the stuff. We just want one thing. We want verse 5. 1 Timothy 3 and 5. 1 Timothy 3 and 5. He say, for if a man know not how to rule his own house, how shall he take care of the house of Elohim? But look at this key thing, right? He said he cannot be a novice, lest being lifted up with pride, he fall into the condemnation of the devil. So when you dealing with the word, you can't be a bishop, I should say, and be a novice. That means you have to know what you're talking about. I don't know if it's any more chairs for you.
It's a chill by you.
Oh, yes it is. You're going to have to move that television though. Hello, Lizzie. Hello, Tabby. Come over here, Lizzie and Abigail, so your mommy can move that TV and get that chair. Leah and Lizzie, y'all gonna have to sit down right here. Come over here, Lizzie. Jay Bird, go sit down, Bird. Go sit down. Abigail, come on. Come on, Abigail. Well, then stand right there, then. So, let me ask y'all this here. How many people y'all done heard manifest the words you felt like were really novices? Y'all know what a novice is, right? A beginner, amateur. I feel like almost 99% of the dudes I ever heard talk the word were amateurs. But you got to be learned in it. Remember, the priest's lips should keep knowledge. So you got to look at all these people. Like we mentioned before, right? You got the whole nation of Yah. See, let's come over here to Acts 14 so you can see why I was talking about what I mentioned to y'all the other day. That's why he's telling you to pray. Because anybody who got the word, Yah sending them, or Yahushua is sending them. You can't send yourself. You can get up and go preach, but that's going to be like the clip that Akish put in the video. You're doing your own will, and your service is in vain. Like, have any of y'all ever thought about that through the course of your life? That you could be serving Yah for nothing and get no reward? Because that's what he said in Matthew 15. He said their service is in vain. But what was the key point what made their service vain? Who remembers why he said their service was vain? If no one can remember, we will read. I'll let y'all think on that. We pull this Acts 14 real quick. When Yahushua said in the 15th, Jay Bird, quiet. And in Matthew 15, he says, he say they serve me in vain. Their service is for nothing. And there's a reason why he said their service was for nothing. He said in Matthew 15, because the doctrines and commandments of men. So that's what makes your service worthless. Because see, this is what me and Trav were talking about. There is only one doctrine. You hear dudes be like, oh, that's your doctrine. No. There's only one doctrine. Dudes is regardless of how dudes want to look at it, I'm just using this as an example because it's the first thing that came to my mind. A 12 tribe chart is a doctrine of men. That's not a doctrine of Yah. That's not something that he's teaching. That's not something that he cares about. You know what I'm saying? Because he doesn't. You know what I'm saying? So when you look at that, you get caught up in doctrines of men, which makes your service to Yah worthless because you're not going to get no fruit out of it. And everything that anybody love to point at is Christian churches. You know what I'm saying? It's more than Christian churches out here, as if Hebrew congregations are not vain. As if they not teaching doctrines and commandments of men. You know what I'm saying? You got men telling people this is what you got to do. Not individuals saying, hey, we're going to go in this direction and mutually agree on that and go forward. They're saying this is what you got to do. Well, where your script at for that? That's what I want. So you can't do it. Like a brother put up something, right? And they was like the framework for courting. Now, this is not no text. So this would be something that everybody in the congregation would have to agree to. You know what I'm saying? They was like, okay, the first 3 months, you got to have chaperone dates. First, you got to ask permission to talk to this person, and this person got to agree. Then they was like, get permission from their parents. I'm like, that sounds real good until you start dealing with grown people. Because if I'm 30, 35 years old and I got kids, I'm not asking nobody for permission to do nothing. You know what I'm saying? The reason why I mentioned that this here, right? If you live in your father's house, then you have to go by what he says. But if you don't live in his house, you can't be like, you can't date him. I don't live with you. So you don't have that type of authority over me. And I get their premise, because their premise is to set up a structure and an order so people are actually marrying the right people. You know what I'm saying? Then they was like, you got another 3 months, you can have unchaperoned dates. And then after another period of time, you got to move and get married. And in theory, it's great. But we're not talking about 16, 17-year-old kids here. We're talking about grown people. You're talking about people who coming in the world who already got kids. You know what I'm saying? Because I know if I'm 30-something plus years old, and somebody say, what if you don't even know your daddy? Who you asking? You got a lot of women in the world who don't even know their daddy. So who you going to track them down and get permission from? What if their daddy ain't in the word? That don't mean that he wouldn't have the wisdom to do so. But what if he ain't even in the word? But for the most part, you got a lot of people ain't never even met their daddy. Can't even find their daddy. You know what I'm saying? So who would you ask? How many of y'all would feel like if you had the opportunity to do like that, they had that framework, that you would follow that? They was like, basically say, if Monte wanted to talk to you, he had to ask you, you had to consent, and then both of y'all had to get permission from your people. You know what I'm saying?
We did it anyway.
No, but then after that, but you know a lot of people don't do that. But then it was like, no unchaperoned visits. You know what I'm saying? No time alone. You know what I'm talking about? I know you didn't do that. Y'all, we already know that. Y'all around here gallivanting around at the arcade by yourself, playing video games. Movie theater, around there doing unspeakable things. It's dark in here. They can't see us. But now what they pointed at, really, the point of what they doing, honestly though, all jokes aside, is to protect the young woman. You know what I'm saying? Keep her and being in situations where a man can overpower her or take advantage of her. You know what I'm saying? Because look at Acts chapter 14, verse 19. Acts 14 and 19. And there came certain Yahudim from Antioch. Children. Calm it down. I don't know what you doing, son. You bugging out. I don't know what you doing. Okay. And the people, having stoned Paul, drew him out of the city, supposing he had been dead. Howbeit, as the disciples stood round about him, he rose up and came into the city the next day, and he departed with Barnabas to Derbe. And when they preached the gospel to that city and taught many, they returned again to Lystra and Iconium and Antioch, confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith, that we through much tribulation enter into the kingdom of Elohim. And when they ordained them elders in every synagogue and had prayed with fasting, they commended them to the Lord on whom they believed. Now, I only read that one there because they had to go about in all these cities and appoint men to be bishops. That's why he wrote to Paul wrote to Titus, the faithful word that you've been taught. Like when you look at that situation, like with Paul, long preaching and this, that, and the third, when the people don't know the gospel, that has to be done because they don't know it. And you got to go in all these places and teach it. That'd be like, okay, you say we just take Florida. And that'd be like, well, it's 67 counties in Florida. And we got to go in all 67 counties and find men and appoint them to teach the gospel so that city can have it. Because nobody there knows it. And that's what they were doing at that time. Because he told them to wait at Jerusalem till they got the Ruach. And then they had to go through all of Asia Minor and spread that gospel to all these people. Because who was going to teach it to them? You thought somebody just was going to pop up? I can teach the gospel. How? Where did you get it from? It's only one man we can see in here do that. Let's get him. Acts chapter 18. And only it's because Yahuwah did that for him. 18 and 24. What are you doing? This is not playtime, so I need you to sit down and govern yourself properly. Where's Renee? Are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? Acts 18 and 24. And a certain Yahudim named Apollos, born at Alexandria, an eloquent man and mighty in the scriptures, came to Ephesians. This man was instructed in the way of Yahuwah, being fervent in the Ruach, and he spake and taught diligently the things of Yahuwah, knowing only the immersion of John. So this is all he knew. He didn't know nothing about past John's baptism of repentance. He began to speak boldly in the synagogue, and when Aquila and Priscilla heard him, they took him unto them and expounded unto him the way of Elohim more perfectly. And when he was disposed to pass into Achaia, the brethren wrote, exhorting the disciples to receive him, who when he was come helped them much, which he had believed through grace. For he mightily convinced the Yahudim, and that publicly showing by the scriptures that Yahusha was the Hamashiach. So Aquila pulls to the side and does what? Shows him the way more perfectly. And now he's going around preaching the gospel. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't realize how rare it was rare then. This man didn't know nothing about Yahusha at all. Come on back over here, right? 2 Chronicles 13.
So that made him an apostle because he was...
No, it say they taught it to him.
Oh, they taught him.
You remember it said Priscilla and Aquila pulled him to the side and showed it to him.
Oh, my God.
It said they expounded the way of Elohim more perfectly. Why? Because Priscilla and Aquila, well, Aquila more specifically, him that was perfect in knowledge was with him, because Aquila was running with the apostles. You know what I'm saying? He was running with them. And then they showed it to him, and guess what now Apollos can do? Go round about and teach that gospel. We don't even realize it because we don't think about it. How much work the men had to do to get that word out there. You know what I'm saying? We back to 2 Chronicles 13. Abigail. It's not playtime. Verse 10. And the reason why I mention that is because you got so many dudes now, everybody a teacher of the word now. You know what I'm saying? All you need is a phone or a camera on your laptop or a camera, and niggas going on Facebook Live and all that. Everybody teaching the word. So all these men can't be laborers, or the book is a lie. I ain't even talking about no Christians, because we already know it's a church on every corner. You can become an ordained minister in prison. Anybody can become an ordained minister. You know what I'm saying? It don't even take that long. You can be an ordained minister in 60 days. In 60 days. You mean to tell me y'all son all these people Because if y'all sent all these people, then the end should have came, because the gospel would have been preached in the four corners of the earth and it'd be over with. Because that's what Yahushua say had to go down for, was over with. But ain't no gospel being preached nowhere. Because if it was, people wouldn't be in the state that they was in. But I told y'all before, and I've learned this over time. It's easy to teach everything else but the gospel, because y'all got to give it to you. You know what I'm saying? Anything else, you can learn that on your own. You can teach yourself, or somebody else can give it to you. You can teach it to whoever you want. That's easy. He don't have to stamp you. Or a man who he sent don't got to take the time to teach you, and he sends you. So it's easy. You deal with that gospel, that's not easy. Why you think all the brews always pull the same verses to prove that Yahushua is the anointed? They don't never go nowhere different. They go to verses that everybody knows. Isaiah 53, he's the builder, he's the stone the builders rejected. Come on, brother. The epistle letters, Yahushua himself told you that was about him. You know what I'm saying? So that's nothing. That's easy to do. How many of y'all was ever in the church and you felt like they preached who you knew as Jesus to you on a consistent basis, to where you could understand who he was? Or did they just tell you he resurrected from the dead and you just believed it because that's what they told you? How many of y'all went to church on a consistent basis? So, Glover, do you feel like they preached the Lord to you in your consistent time of going to church? And what did you feel like they mainly focused on when it came? Hey, no, sir. No talking, sir. Don't get it.
Tell him not to fight.
I think he's getting a little fresh.
No, he about to get it. She already been popping.
You just sitting there laying there letting him do it.
No, she's popping.
She was hitting it back. You shouldn't hit that baby. He's a baby. He's a baby. You hit it back.
No, he hit like my other head.
He said he hit like a toddler.
Yes.
Lizzie said, yes, I struck him. You struck him? You're proud of yourself, aren't you? Hey, Lizzie. What you felt like they was lacking on? Hold on. Oh, Trina said she never knew that the old went with the new and never knew that Yahushua was in the Old Testament at all.
Yeah, they're gonna tell you.
That's a big piece.
If you tell them that, they're gonna tell you you're wrong.
Yeah. What about you, D? What you felt like they in that regard?
What was the question? Did they teach me?
Boom. Did you feel like they was giving you a real belief on the Savior, like going in the Word and showing you could believe? Because every church different. Some churches go through that Word.
I felt like my
For the best of their abilities, but they wasn't going in the Old Testament.
No, they be.
Well, go ahead. What you was going to say, D?
No, I was saying I felt like my pastor taught me. I felt like he was teaching. Shoot, he kept it real. He really went about that gay people life. He pointed that out in the church. He pointed out people sitting in certain sections and talking bad about people.
No, I'm not referring to that. I'm talking about like really.
That's what I'm saying. As far as that, I felt like in the concept of who Jesus was, the concept, we ain't just do Easter, we talk about him around. I felt like he really did it.
Because I've met some people who felt like, hey man, my pastor was going in that book.
Yeah, that's how I feel. Cause I felt like when my brother died, I felt like I really knew which direction to go in, and I didn't really feel rebellious. I really prayed and cried to God. Because I felt like that was set up for me to do that. I wasn't sitting around wishing like, that was God.
For sure. What about you? Went to church a lot?
I said no.
What about you, Darius? What you felt like you got out of that in regards to learning about the Lord? You went to church a lot, Lee?
I mean, after I was 13, yeah.
Well, what you felt like you got from after you for them?
I was listening at that age, so
I don't feel you. At that age, you like this here. Why am I here? Man, you went to church a lot, cause. And what you got from it? That was a different time then. I know they was in there having good theatrics.
But what they taught, you really didn't get a lot from.
Hold on. Jessica say she went consistently for a whole year and didn't learn nothing about the Lord. Then she said all she learned was God forgive us as long as I make it back to church every Sunday. That was enough. You went to church a lot, Mom? And what you got? You felt like they were teaching you about the Lord?
Yeah, that's all I was taught.
In what regard?
Just, the way everybody else was taught. Jesus died for us, regular stuff.
No, but I'm talking about when I say that, like, they went in there, he opened it up and showed you this is why this happened. Or this is why this happened.
Nah, they ain't breaking down like that.
See, that's what because like you told, right? They tell you what, believe on Jesus, you'll be saved, right? But then we don't even know what we believe on because we just believe in it because somebody told us to do it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So then if somebody was to come and question you, most people's foundation gets shook because it ain't really built on that. It's more built on somebody told you, you believe this your whole life. That's why when you come at people and you tell them who've been in the church that they believe in lies, that's why they resist so strongly. Because you really shaking the core everything I believe, and then they realize that everything I believe was built on absolutely nothing. You know what I'm saying? And that's why they fight so strong. And dudes too simple, they don't know that. You know what I'm saying? If I know your pastor ain't never really showed you who this man, like it says in John 20, that the disciples didn't know that he was going to resurrect from the dead. So if I say, why do you believe he resurrected from the dead? Because Jesus loves me and the Bible told me so. You know what I'm saying? But why do you believe that? Because it says that. But why? That will shake someone because they really don't know why. They just know I was told to believe that. But the difference is that somebody go in here and they show you, let's look at Joseph. Or let's look at this and look at this. So when you see him on the back end do it, I believe it because God already, that goes back to if you believe on him, then the witness is in yourself. I believe it because his daddy told me. See, his daddy told me what was going to happen before it happened. So when it happened, he said it in Isaiah, and Yahushua said it as well. He said, I tell you these things before they happen. So when they come to pass, you'll believe that I am he. But if I'm not showing you this, and that's the point of knowing the gospel. That's why he say, he that hear my sayings and do them. Now you built on something. So nobody can't come. Like I done had dudes who don't believe on Hamashiach come at me be like, I'll get you to stop believing. Go ahead and try it. Knock yourself out. Because I'm not the niggas that you're used to dealing with. I'm not the niggas you're used to talking to. They don't know what they believe. That's why he say, go ahead.
No, I was going to say they're idiots. How can you believe the Bible if not somebody and you don't believe in him? That's weird.
It is. Hold on. Trina said that she found out that pastors can only preach about certain topics or they get in trouble. Brother Jennings said some people have not learned because their pastors weren't as fervent with them or their hearts weren't with Yahuwah yet. And I can understand that too. But for more so, it's coming down to the thing that we look at because the harvest is plentiful, the laborers are few. So there was no one to teach them. So how would you be able to teach what you don't have?
Like some of them do know.
Oh, no, they don't know.
But I've heard people say, I did know that Christmas was pastors.
No, but see, I'm not talking about Christmas.
I'm saying, I feel like some, like my sister knows Pastor, he do know a lot of stuff. He just doesn't, he chooses not to, because then you would be in the wrong, because he ain't living his life the right way.
Yeah, but see, it ain't even just the living right. Like the gospel, and I know this just from talking to people and examining them, like when you go and deal with that gospel, they don't know.
You don't say no.
Absolutely not. Because that would actually bring more people in because you talk about this man and his death, burial, and resurrection year round.
I feel like they do know, but they don't teach that because they're taught not to. Like, as far as them going to seminary, I feel like they know, like, the gospel. Well, I knew the Bible was about Jesus, but they don't teach that. They'll even know that they know it.
No, see, I know that they know that, but what I'm talking about is they can't effectively teach it because they don't know it.
Because they're not getting taught. They get taught by white men.
At church, they don't teach you at church. They teach you at
Bible
study.
That is true.
They teach you on their Wednesday. They don't teach you.
And they know everybody don't go to Bible.
Everybody don't go to Bible. You're not writing that. I'm saying, hey, you
Yeah, you get the theatrics, you get your entertainment.
No, that's true though, because I know they used to say, oh, you go to Bible study, you studying the full song, you don't do this, but the rest of it.
But listen, right, I'm focusing on one, like this here, right? Most pastors know Isaiah 53. That's Jesus. That's easy. Most know Psalms 22. That's easy. Most know Daniel 7. That's easy. These are things that everybody knows. No, I don't doubt that because like you said, they might put that in their Bible study, but they're not going to put that in their sermon. Yeah. Yeah, but what I'm saying is like the deep, nuance, deep, you can't preach what you don't know.
I can tell you why.
You can't preach what you don't know.
The bishop actually told me.
What
You
you
don't preach that because to take church is a business. It takes money.
That's what I said.
Most of them are gonna run away when you tell them, "Oh, you can't do this."
But see, that's again, that's not. Listen. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about any of that. I'm talking about strictly the testimony. Strictly the testimony. Strictly that. I'm not talking about what you can and can't do. It don't matter what you study.
That's still me, but he was also living his life in sin too. So
but that's what I'm telling you. But listen, right? You can study all you want, and you'll never learn the testimony if y'all don't give it to you. But listen what I'm telling you. But listen what I'm telling you. It ain't even about the sinning or none of that. You can study all you want, but y'all got to give you that gospel.
I used to always wonder, like, how
he got to give you.
Like, how can they identify them? Like, they knew the scriptures. Like, I ain't know the scriptures, so that's what I was. And
that's the key. See, the point what I'm making is right. You should be able to identify the virgin birth in Genesis because it's there. You know what I'm saying? Like what? And I done showed y'all this from the time that I know you. You supposed to be able to preach Yahusha and not come in this side of the book ever. You know what I'm saying? This ain't dealing with nothing about what you can and can't do. None of that. I'm talking about if we was to go around and ask people, why do you believe he resurrected from the dead? They cannot tell you. You know what I'm saying? Why was he crucified? They cannot tell you. They can't go and show you what was the purpose of his death. What was he supposed to do? They cannot tell you. They can just give you, why y'all think I be on y'all about giving me them general answers like that? Because you need to know it. It's not just for me being no douchebag. You need to know that. You know what I'm saying? Because if you don't know that, how you going to say you believe it?
Why did he go heal people?
Why did he do that? Why did he turn the water into wine? Why did this happen? You know what I'm saying? Because now you actually know, because he's only one witness. You understand what I'm saying? So that's not enough according to our law. You need to know another witness so you can say this matter is established. That's why I believe it. You know what I'm saying? You just can't believe. Jesus said he resurrected from the dead. That's enough. No, it's not enough. Not according to our law. What you saying?
When you ask questions, like what Johnny was saying, why this, why that, I've asked people which they always tell you either one, you gotta have faith in the mustard seed, or two, it Lord works in mysterious ways.
I don't know. And that's a lie. Nowhere in the book does it say y'all work in mysterious ways. That man let you know what he finna do before he do it. He ain't got you around here guessing and floating. When's he gonna do that? I don't know. He doesn't operate that way. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't operate like. All of us done heard that saying before, right? God work in mysterious ways. That's a lie from hell. No, he don't. The mystery is mystery in the script means hidden truth. You know what I'm saying? So when he talk about mystery, this was something that was hidden from you, but now it's been revealed. That man just don't do stuff on a whim. I know that was the Lord. That's not. He don't work in no serendipity. You know what I'm talking about? He don't work that way. But see, the reason why the gospel is important, because now you will understand how he operates. When you understand how he operates, then you can discern what is of Elohim and what is not. When you can't do that, that's where you got the problem. I say, it's a lot of pastors I know. You remember when we talked to your man I was talking to with the gospel? What he told me, you need international knowledge.
Yeah,
I'm talking to this thing about the gospel.
He could have learned from you, though. And if he would have learned from you, he would have had it.
He would have had it. He could have went and taught more people with it. And I ain't even come at him on no, you can't sin, you can't do this. We like, bro, this is the Lord. Oh, you need international knowledge, brother. See, boom, 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 boom. That's what that man said, real talk, right on the Burger King on Kings Road. I don't know what it meant. I just looked at him and turned my head.
They don't want to preach it, though. That's what I'm saying.
Then I take into account, you got Hebrew teachers who been in the word 20, 30 years, don't know the gospel. And they study all the time. Remember, we just talked about this here. Ever learning, never able to come to the knowledge of the truth. They never able to come to the knowledge of Yahusha. Studying ain't got nothing to do with it. You know what I'm saying? He got to show you that. And he don't show you that? What did he say about Peter, right? When y'all in Matthew 16, he asked Peter, he said, who do men say that I am? What did Peter say? And what did Yahushua say back to Peter after that? Have not revealed this to you, but my Father in heaven showed you. It's some things man can't show you. It's some things man can't show you. He got to show it. You know what I'm saying? And when he show it, then you can go show other men. You know what I'm saying? And what they should have known. They knew the script better than everybody. What did Paul write? And we're going to get to where we at. What did Paul write? Paul spoke in Acts 13. He saying, y'all condemn this man who you read in the synagogue every Shabbat. So you can read. You can study. But if he don't open your heart and open your eyes, you'll never see it.
But like people can learn from you if they want it, right? So
I mean, they can learn from anybody who got the gospel, not just me, anybody who got it.
That's what I'm saying. So the information is out now.
Yeah, people don't want it.
So why they're not teaching?
I mean, well, number one, why a lot of them ain't teaching it, because the laborers are few. You know what I'm saying? So how they come across these dudes? You're not coming across them. You know what I'm saying? Trav up there in Detroit, you think they run across every pastor who got it, who teaching in the Christian church? No. Most people don't even know it. Like when you see Yahushua coming through and he go to spit and what he was spitting, then people were looking at him like he was crazy. You know what I'm saying? They had never heard anything like it. They were like, this nigga's bugged out. But I'm saying this here, and I mentioned that to saying that every pastor does not necessarily mean that he evil, he this, that, and the third. He just doesn't know it. You know what I'm saying? So he can't give you what he don't know. Now, some of them have nefarious means. My personal opinion, I feel like 3/4 of pastors' intentions are good. They just uninformed. You know what I'm saying? I don't just inherently believe that all these men are evil and want to sleep with all the women and take all the money. Most of them feel like they're doing what's right. Yeah, I never was one to sit back and look at. Once I got older, and they're like, nah, man, all these dudes ain't sour. Especially when you look at churches that are smaller. You know what I'm saying? It's usually the ones that are sour, they're in the bigger organization. Because like you say, it's a business now. We're trying to get paid. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of these churches that's in the hood around here, man, most of them people, man, they doing that. That's what they've always, it's my calling. I just met a dude the other day. He said he a youth pastor. He said, I don't get down with the big pastors in the city. They don't mess with me because I go about things in a different fashion. Because we were talking about joining the NAACP. I said I was straight. I ain't doing that. Because what they want you to do is they want to see you, they want to get you, and they want to groom you and make you like them so they can keep their power. And that's all the Pharisees were doing. That's why they didn't want people to listen to Yahushua. I can take you, and I want you to be like me so I can keep... What was the Pharisees' issue? We going to lose our what? Place and nation. I want my power. Most of these pastors are sour because they got power and they don't want to lose it. You know what I'm saying? See, power is an intoxicating narcotic. You know what I'm saying? Power might be more damaging than money. You know what I'm saying? Because when you get a lot of power, you got a lot of influence. You can get a lot of things done. People listen to you. And you know, dudes are sour. Come on back over here. Let me finish this 2 Chronicles 13. Now, I didn't want to hear you because I ain't never been in no church, so I don't know. But I do know from moving around with people who preach the word, I know they don't know it. You know what I'm saying? Just the gospel, I know they don't know it. They know pieces of it. You know what I'm saying? But they don't really know it. So then they can't effectively minister to the people. That's why you get your clapping sermons and all this, that, there, and the third. That's why people don't want to be taught. You know what I'm saying? Like how you mentioned, like Bible study on Wednesdays. Everybody know you ain't coming. Most of you niggas don't show up on Wednesday. but did I lie though? But where was the fabrication? I know it ain't, because I ain't told no lie. The evidence in the numbers. Because what I used to tell him, little muffin, what would you do if it wasn't no YouTube? You just missed it. You know what I'm saying? You just missed it. And I just said, I used to mention that so complacency don't set in. To be like, I'll watch it later. I'll look at it later. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not the issue of you looking at it later. I know people work, whatever the case may be. That's not the issue. It's don't get that complacent Why I feel like I can do this later, because later may never come. $13 and $10. That's all. That's just the point. But everybody know ain't nobody showing up no middle of no week, man. I ain't going to church, man. I go. But not many people don't, especially when you dealing with the word and you talking about in the middle of the week. See, it's different when you actually following the way, because you know your attendance on Shabbat is obligatory. You know what I'm saying? That ain't up for negotiation. You know what I'm talking about? But Wednesday, that's optional. It's voluntary. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? See, it can't never be no Wednesday, but I don't feel like preaching today. See, I don't have that option. Once we started, I got to keep it going. Because I'm going to tell you, they asked for that. That was way back. That was 4 years ago. They was like, hey, man, it's a long gap from Shabbat to Shabbat. Can we get one in the middle of the week? That's why we do it. We didn't do that. We didn't start doing that till February 2015. What you made all that for? Yes, I do. The reason why I remember that, because we started right before, because I had started right before the new moon of that month. And then the following month was New Year's. So yes, I do remember that. 2 Chronicles 13 and 10. He said, but as for us, Yahuwah is our Elohim, we have not forsaken him. And the priests which minister unto Yahuwah are the sons of Aaron, and the Levites wait upon their business. When we look at the word business, it's melkah. It's occupation, work of business. You have meme, lamad, aleph, kuf, and hay. I'll give you a moment. I'll give you a moment to ponder. Just a little moment. You like a moment? That boy, that's hard. That boy, they're going to be a large man. He's going to be a large man. Who eat a 10p? I can see you with the 10. You a bad man.
With fries and fruit and a drink.
Sure. A bad man. You my type of guy. I used to eat like that too. Yeah. I feel you. You know. Shit, I feel it. I used to eat like that too. What y'all got for me with that meme, lamad, aleph, kaf, and hay? What characters stand out to y'all with that? When you see that work of the occupation of business and it's maintained to the priest? That indeed. So we see their business is to do what? To teach. And what did Hamashiach say? He said, wished you not that I must be about who? My Father's business. That's where that olive come in, because now you got the leader. So the leader's teaching, or you could use strength and just substitute that and use that hate for the man with raised arms. Work was the strength of the Ruach, or the strength of Elohim. What is the strength of Elohim, everybody? According to the text. What's the strength of Elohim according to the text? Faith. Now you say trust you and Yahuwah forever. For trust in Yahuwah is everlasting strength. Say he keep him in perfect shalom whose mind is stayed on you. So when you look at those, so again, to teach that strength, what is that taking you back to? It's taking you to the gospel again. Remember what we read in John 13 and 20? He said, whosoever receive whoever I send. Let me tell y'all something about the harvest. Because who is the harvest? Let's look and see who the harvest is. Matthew 13. Hey, little buddy. Hey, little buddy. Hey, little buddy. I see you, little buddy. Live. Let me have some. I need a couple more. That'll do it. Thank you, sir. SpaghettiOs. Do you like SpaghettiOs? Huh? What? 5 seconds, baby. 5 seconds. Boy, I used to look at it like this. Niggas talk about how could you eat something off the ground, but people will put their mouths on other people's genitals.
People feet shoes on the ground. People stepping dog poop and then come walking the
My statement said, and that poop comes from people's genitals. Ain't nobody died yet. 13 to 36. Then Yahushua sent the multitude away and went into the house. And his disciples said unto him, saying, declare unto us the parable of the tares of the field. He that answered and said unto them, he that sowed the good seed is the Son of Man. The field is the world, the good seed are the children of the kingdom, but the tares are the children of the wicked one. The enemy that sows them is the harvest, is the devil. The harvest is the end of the world, and the reapers are the Malachim. So remember, right, the harvest is what? But remember, you say the harvest is plenty. It's a lot of people to save before the end of the world. Because what you do with a harvest, you doing what you gathering in your crop. So when he telling you that the harvest is plentiful and the laborers are few, he telling you it's a lot of crop.
You, here.
Being stubborn.
No, you need to be sitting down.
Well, you said that like he was going to jail.
How about this?
He just sitting in the chair. He's like, no.
You sit next to you. How about this?
Now you're locked up with it.
All right, get you some gold, please.
You want the rest of it? Well, thank you, Lady Papa. You're a nice man.
They don't even care.
Hold on, Paul. Come to Joel chapter 2. You should remember this here, Glover. I think that's the first time you brought Lee to the house for this one. No, I'm talking about what I'm finna read, because I remember that one there because y'all was there. I remember the one you brought when you brought your people around there, Lee, because they were looking at me crazy. That night, that's when we dealt with wanting to go back to Jerusalem. They were looking at me like, this is crazy.
Everybody looking at you like that at first.
Kind of felt the same way when you took me in the head, but I'm like, hey, this nigga's on there.
Well, we already know Ed crazy. Ed like this here. Ed said, gotta keep it clean, gotta keep it clean. You know, even the Lord worked. Oh no. Joel chapter 2. It's chapter 3, my bad. Three and 13. He said, put you in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come get you down, for the press is full, the fats overflow, for the wickedness is great. So he said the reapers are the Malachim. So the Malachim are coming to gather up them crops. Now come on back to Matthew 13. Verse 40. As therefore the tares are gathered and burned in the fire, so shall it be at the end of the world. The Son of Man shall send forth his Malachim, and they shall gather out of his kingdom all things that offend. Quiet, please, sir. And them which do iniquity. And shall cast them into the furnace of fire, and there shall be wailing and gnashing of teeth. Then shall the righteous shine forth as the sun in the kingdom of their Abba. Who have ears to hear, let him hear. Now the word for harvest, let's come over here to Genesis 8:22 so you can see it. Yes, sir. You need to be focused on that table. Genesis 8:22. And we done dealt with this here before, and we'll see who can remember this. Matter of fact, make it 8 and 20. Genesis 8 and 20. Noah built an altar unto Yahuwah, and took of every clean beast of the field, and of every clean fowl offered burnt offerings on the altar. Yahuwah smelled a sweet savor, and Yahuwah said in his heart, I will not again curse the ground anymore for man's sake, for the imagination of man's heart is evil from his youth. Neither will I again smite any more every living thing as I have done. While the earth remain, seed time and harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, and day and night shall not cease. So, what's seed time? Let's look at the text and let's examine that. What is seed time?
First fruits.
First fruits? Anybody else? Anybody on here got an answer for seed time? When you look at seed time in agriculture, what is it that you're doing during seed time? Planting. So, Luke 10 is saying the seed is what? Your word. So seed time, according to the gospel, is preaching time. If the harvest is the end of the world, then the seed time is when the word being spread. Now he said, while the earth remain, cold and heat will not cease. Day and night shall not cease. Is that accurate? If we're looking at the kingdom. You say it is?
No.
Hold on, let me do it. How many say that's accurate looking at the kingdom?
Looking at the kingdom.
Listen what he said, right? Cold and heat, summer and winter, and day and night, and seed time and harvest time will not cease while the earth remains. So is that true or is that false if we're looking at the kingdom? You say false? Who says true? Why did you say true? Nothing changed. Who else say that true? He's saying that he says while the earth remains, seed time, harvest time, cold, heat, summer, winter, day and night will not stop. You feel like that's true? You feel like it's true? Who feel like that's false? Why you feel like that's false?
Because he said night in Revelation, he said no night.
There won't be no night there, but why though?
Because it's no death.
According to the king. That's false. Why is that false, little mother?
Oh, because of what he just said.
That's not the correct answer.
You said according to the
Yeah, but you didn't say that. After he come back, we know everything will change.
But see, there's a specific thing that I'm angling for. He said while the earth remains.
Yeah, so the earth remained, that means he ain't came yet. Because heaven and earth gonna pass away.
That's what I was looking for. So when heaven and earth pass away, then what's going to stop? Seed time, harvest time, and let's look and see. Hold on. That's what I was angling for. He just said it.
Well, yeah, once you said the last part.
That's why I said according to the kingdom. Because you're supposed to know according to the kingdom what was supposed to happen. Heaven and earth supposed to pass. That means the earth don't remain. It's a new what? It's a new heaven and a new earth. Well, all those things. Why would you be preaching a new heaven and new earth? Why would he need the harvest and he done already gathered it? Matter of fact, before we look at that, let me deal with the word harvest. Let me deal with that. That word is katsir. You have kuf, sod, yod, and rosh. Take your time. Stroll down the street a little bit. Renee, put your shirt down because your belly button is exposed. Hey, Leah. How are you? What is that? Granola. Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy. Hey, Tabby. Hey, Tabby. I didn't know she could say my name till yesterday. I ain't never caught it. What y'all got for that kuf, sod, yod, and rosh? If you're going to use kuf, what would you say? You have final, you have arriving. What else you got? Said overcome for kuf? Open palm? No, not for kaf, for kuf. No, not Kaf. Kuf.
Well, I thought it was on Cool. That's why I said final.
Final. You got a horizon and behind and light. So he gonna go with light. Saad, what would you say? The way? So we got the way of light. So Yard and Raj, what you get?
Raj is the highest.
And Yard?
I was thinking because we deal with harvest, I was thinking with the proof. I was thinking.
You say final?
Just because harvest is I ain't know this trying to correlate that.
No, I'm asking y'all. I just can't remember all the things, folks. So what would you use? I just said light because that's what was profit. So you looking at the final. So what else is facade besides the way? Oh, so it's the final harvest then. And the final harvest is what? The work of the highest? So when you look at it right, so he's telling you the harvest is plentiful, the laborers are few. The field is the world. The crops is the people. So when you look at it right, that final harvest is the work of the highest. And he said that harvest would not stop as long as the earth remains. So as long as the earth remains, there's seed being dropped and crops being germinated and matured to be gathered. Now let's take a look at it now. Let's go to Isaiah 65. You ever seen it? You done seen a lot of farmers ain't got enough laborers to deal with a good crop if their ground was fertile. I think say that's why they hire Mexicans. Unfortunately, they do. Isaiah 65 and 17. Children, I need y'all to be a little bit more quiet. Eugene, I need you to be a little bit less rambunctious. Huh? You can spell Amaya? Well, thank you for alerting me to that fact. He say, for behold, I create a new heavens and a new earth, and the former shall not be remembered, nor come to mind. So now we got to look at it, right? Seed time is what? The preaching of the word. Ain't nobody preaching in no kingdom. What you preaching? What would you be preaching? The kingdom is already here. So now we look at the harvest. We already read that the harvest is what? The end of the world. So when you look at the end of the world, that's the end of the earth, and a new one is coming. So whoever's been gathered in, that's who's getting in. What did he say in Revelation 20? Blessed are those that are part of the what? The first resurrection. That's who's getting in on that. But now he said cold and heat. Does the text tell you about cold and heat? Where'd it tell you that at? Well, let's look at Isaiah 49, where it comes from in Revelation. Because I was just talking to Akis about this morning too, and y'all should know that 95% of what's in Revelation, you already been told. It's in the script. Now this ties to Revelation 7, but I'm just going to pull it out the script so you can see where it's at. 49 and 8. Isaiah 49 and 8. Thus saith Yahuwah, in an acceptable time have I heard you. In the day of salvation have I helped you. And I will preserve you and give you for a covenant to the people to establish the earth and to cause to inherit the desolate heritages. So hold on. Who he said he going to give for a covenant to the people? This Yahushua he talking about he going to give as a covenant for the people. Is that not what occurred in Matthew chapter 26 verse 28? But then look what he said, right? That he could cause to establish what? What's going to establish the new heaven and the new earth? It would have to be Yahushua himself. And what does in Hebrew the word heritage mean? The inheritance. To establish the death. Because see, people think that's all. No. Jerusalem is desolate right now. The land is desolate. Does that not what it say in Leviticus 26? That's what it says. So now he's showing you how Yahushua came to establish the kingdom. He's going to be offered as a sacrifice, and he's going to rebuild the desolate heritage or the land and establish a new heaven and new earth. How do we know he's going to establish a new heaven and new earth? Because look what he's about to say. That you may say to the prisoners, go forth. Resurrection of the dead is right there. All you need to do, hold on, for those who may not be aware, because I want to get that for those who don't know. Because I know it's people who don't know that's sitting in here and listening. Zechariah chapter 9. And y'all know that y'all get them snacks and they make crumbs that you got to be diligent to clean up behind them. Zechariah 9 and 11. What you did to that boy? You pushed him down. He should have been pushed down because he ain't listening. And that crowd was fake. He didn't land there. He seen that nobody gave no sympathy. Now he won't get up. We knew you were lying. I see you down there too. Zechariah 9 and 11. As for thee also by the blood of your covenant. So again, you see how that ties with Isaiah 49. I have sent forth your prisoners out of the pit wherein is no water. What is the pit representative of? The grave. So he just said, I sent prisoners. So here's the resurrection of the dead in two places. And that goes back to what we were referencing before. Like, why is not the resurrection of the dead spoke about? Now you have two reasons why you can believe the resurrection of the dead. Why? Because you've seen in two places where it said that Yahushua would be sacrificed for the purpose of people being resurrected from the dead. And you can take that to Matthew chapter 27 when the men resurrected from the dead when he resurrected. Because we just had a brother last night, and praise be to Yah, name of Yahushua for it, that say, you know what? I have been struggling with believing on him because of to not only individuals. Like I done had conversations with dudes. Dudes don't stop believing on the Mashiach just because they don't believe. It's because they have questions that people are not answering. So then they begin to believe that that text is faulty because you can't answer their questions. That's what I mean when people don't know. If you was to go to a pastor right now and said, according to the scriptures, pastor, why did these men resurrect from the dead when he resurrected? Can you tell me that? They're not telling you that because they don't want you to know. They're not telling you that because they don't know. You know what I'm saying? Because there's plenty of Hebrew dudes I know who don't know it. Because I remember when I explained it to a few of them, a couple of them was like, oh, man. I'm like, yeah, bro, that's not in there for no reason, my nigga. You know what I'm saying? But for me, it's not so, yeah, look what I showed you. It's like, dang, this nigga really is questioning his faith because he done asked 10 other people this question, they couldn't answer it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to look at that. Like, you know how many people, just go around and ask people you know who say they deal with the Bible a lot. Like, hey, bro, you can tell me why that's in there. Remember, I used to do that a lot. Remember, Little Muffin, you say, go ask people questions, man, see what they tell you. Because you'll be surprised. I guarantee you if y'all was to go back to your old churches and ask your pastor that, he ain't going to look at you. You need to have faith as a mother. Because when he resurrected, they got up. They can't actually go in the script and show you why that happened. Don't you know you need to know why that happened? That's a part of your faith. That's the knowledge of God. Because then you would know that if they resurrected, when he returns, you're going to resurrect with him. Because he resurrected from the dead, you're going to resurrect with him. Not just some dudes got up out the grave and went to showing themselves to people saying, look, I resurrected from the dead. Like, that's not unimportant. You know what I'm saying? That's not some deep knowledge. You understand what I'm saying? Because truth be told, it's very simple. But look at the next thing he said, right? Turn ye to the stronghold, you prisoners of hope. Even today do I declare that I will render double unto you. You can have those. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate your benevolence. Come on back to Isaiah 49. Because when you get now, the resurrection of the dead doesn't coincide with the new heaven and new earth, but it coincides with the kingdom, though. Come on back to Isaiah 49 and 9. That you may say to the prisoners, go forth, and to them that are in darkness, show yourselves. They shall feed in the ways, and their pastures shall be in all the high places. Again, blessed and Kadash is he that have part in the first resurrection, upon whom, if you in darkness, you in death. He said, show yourself, get up. That's why he say the day come when those who are in the grave will hear the Son of Man's voice, and those that hear will come to everlasting life. That's why he say he brought life and immortality to light through the gospel. Life and immortality was in darkness until Yahushua came. You have to know and understand that. But look at the next thing he said. They shall not hunger nor thirst, neither shall the heat nor sun smite them. For he that have mercy on them shall lead them. Even by springs of water shall he guide them. That's what's in Revelation chapter 7. So he just said it's not going to be hot or cold there. Why? It's a new heaven and new earth. As long as this earth is present, it's always going to be seed time. It's always going to be harvest time. It's always going to be hot. It's always going to be cold. It's always going to be summer. It's always going to be winter. Because summer and winter coincide with what? Being hot or cold. And that lets you know, if you didn't know, that we only have 2 seasons. There's no such thing as spring. There's no such thing as fall. Some brothers started celebrating New Year's yesterday. New Year started on our end in about 3 days. So now, right now, you in winter still. Like even with these white folks, you still in winter. They don't start celebrating spring till the 21st. You know, their seasons change on the 21st. March 21st, June 21st, September 21st, and December 21st. Y'all done tame when the year changed. Once the first month is, the first day, once trumpets come, it's winter time. Once trumpets come, the first day of the 7th month, it's winter time. It's 6 months summer, 6 months winter. That's how he operates. That's how he operates. So now let's look at the last thing, right? He said what? Cold, summer, or winter? What was the last thing? I think I got all of them. Let's look at Isaiah 66 and 22. And then Revelation 21. I didn't get a lot of the instruction in, but you can see how through the discipline of his sacrifice that you can love knowledge. What may I do for you, Snotty Boy? You want to go where? Well, I don't have a car seat, so I can't take you. And I don't have any room because all my seats are covered. You find that humorous? Is that funny to you? Am I here for your amusement? Am I here to make you laugh? Isaiah 66 and 22. He says, "For as a new heaven and new earth, which I make shall remain before me, saith Yahuwah, so shall your seed and your name remain." Now, it was something else I wanted to get into this afternoon, and I ain't get it, but I'm going to give you a brief synopsis of it, and y'all willing, I'll go into further detail next week. So now he says that a new heaven and new earth shall remain. Now, let's go to Revelation 21 and see what he say about it. You know, this is an expectation of hope that you should have. All right now, little Eugene. All right now, little Eugene. Little J Bird, you don't even like pistachios. Clearly you do. That nigga was making faces like he ate some cake. Revelation 21 and 1. You like those? Mara, you like it? "And I saw a new heaven and new earth, for the first heaven and first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. And I, John, saw the Kadesh city, New Jerusalem, coming down from Elohim, out of Shamahim, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. And I heard a great voice out of Shamahim saying, Behold, the tabernacle of Elohim is with men, and he will dwell with them. And they shall be his people, and Elohim himself will be their Elohim. And Elohim shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying. Neither shall be there any more pain, for the former things are passed away." See, that's what take you back to that Genesis 8 and 22. And that's why you can see that with that harvest, what that means when you look at it, about that final harvest. You know what I'm saying? Which is the work of the highest. Because what is his work? He's going to take away death. He's going to take away pain. He's going to take away sorrow. He's going to give you rest from your enemies. Because he said, right, put in the sickle because the harvest is ripe. It's time to go reap. And the bad crops, I'm going to put them through the wine press. And the good crops, I'm going to gather into my barn. That's what he said. But see, it was something I want to mention to y'all, right? Because we good for that for right now. I'm going to ask y'all this question. The knowledge of the tree of good and evil and the tree of life. As far as y'all understand, what does that mean? 'Cause I got a little bit of time. I say I'll go into it more in depth. I done dealt with it in the past. I'm going to go around the room. Nisha, you on my left, so I'll start with you. Because I'm left-handed. You do know I'm left-handed, right? Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm left-handed. So the knowledge of the tree of good and evil and the tree of life, as far as you understand, what are those trees? Just whatever you understand in pertaining to those two things. The trees that were in the garden.
So, the tree of
good and evil, and the tree of life.
So I know one was obviously when you went to the that was the one of knowledge that exposes you to evil, exposes you to bad, exposes you to wickedness. And before they added that, they were just clean people. They weren't exposed to.
I understand. You talking to you.
They weren't exposed.
Hey, calm it down, children. You know better. This ain't your first rodeo. Yeah, I doubt nothing.
Before they ate from that, they didn't know anything about doing the wrong thing. They just knew God's will. And then once they was exposed to eating of that fruit, their eyes were open to wanting to know more, wanting to feel like they could have the power that y'all had.
Good deal. What about you, Monte?
You don't have nothing to say.
You don't feel well? What about you, Deidre? Yeah, like as far as you understand, what do they mean to you? So as far as you understand, just whatever your understanding is on those two items.
I mean, I want to answer yes because I can't.
Hold on, I can't hear you.
So she gonna be guessing.
I said I would be guessing because I can't lie. I've never been posed with questions.
Okay. Hey, you two, you need to be quiet because I couldn't hear her because you were talking. I don't care.
So is it right there's right and wrong answer?
No, I'm just asking what y'all understand as far as what you know in regards to it. What about you, Callie? Anybody on here, y'all can bring forth anything to know you who are intimately to know what's right or wrong. Okay, I got you, Brother Jennings. I got you.
You just tell them to put their answers on standby. So where are you still?
I already know, but I would say like I guess the tree you said tree of evil.
You got the tree of knowledge of good and evil, and you had the tree of life in the garden. The only two trees that were mentioned specifically.
I don't know. Because I was going to say one tree. I don't know.
What about you, Stanley?
I mean, when I had said first, I thought,
It's based on what you know.
Yeah, I'm not looking for an correct answer. I'm looking for what you know. Sit down and be quiet, sir. Mara. Nobody asked you what you wanted to do. What about you, Stanley?
Based on my understanding of that, I always felt like tree of knowledge, you want to go with Satan.
All right. What about you, John?
Yeah, like you said, like tree of life, all of that, eternal life, and then good and evil, apparently, make you wise and make you carnal knowledge.
Okay. What about you, Mama? Not you, Mom. I said, Mom. You at the end. Good and evil. What about you, Cleisha Jones? Right. Jughead. Hezekiah Mama. I shall be excused.
The tree of life is the life, and the tree of good and evil is the forbidden fruit.
What about you, Darius?
Honestly, the tree of life line up with John 15. And I say the tree good and evil will be pretty much like I said, like the knowledge of the Torah. You know what's like the right to do and what's the wrong to do.
All right. What about you, Lee?
I would say that they didn't really know anything except for what y'all told them today.
What about you, Glover? Stop. Sit down.
Yeah, I guess, like you said, one tree was talking about eternal life, and the other one talked about evil. Adam and them didn't know.
What about you, Mom?
Tree of good and evil. I feel like it's all that common knowledge,
Mm-hmm.
and I never understood what, because I've never been taught about the tree of life.
And what about you?
Understanding and death, and then the tree that's the other tree is salvation.
All right, cool. So, what do y'all believe? Do y'all believe that they were literal trees or not?
At that time, yes, well, they represented something else.
I always felt like they were people.
I mean, if it was something guarded, somebody that was guarded,
Absolutely.
it got to be something.
Is Yahushua the tree of life? Yeah, I mean,
It was like,
now he made a good point because he told him that if you eat of the tree of good and evil, what he told him was going to happen. And he tell you like that the knowledge of Torah is what? It's death. You know what I'm saying? Because when they went against that. But when you look at it right, because we done dealt with this before. If these trees produce, what do these trees produce? So when you look at fruit, what is fruit representative of in a lot of situations with the word? Now it's representative a lot with actions. You know what I'm saying? Those actions are going to come from words. So the reason why I came to say, because I told you a dude said the mystery of iniquity is the Christian church. Are y'all familiar with that verse? Let me read that verse to you. Come to 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. Let me familiarize you with it. Like I said, it's something that we dealt with during 2 years ago when we were just going through everything that was going to happen at the end. But hearing the individual say that, I felt like dealing what we dealing with the harvest is plentiful, laborers are few, and things of that nature, that we need to go back over them. Hey, you're not even crying for real. You're not even crying for real. You're not even crying for real. And you faking. I'm looking you in your eyes. Hey, hush it up, hush it up, hush it up, hush it up. Cry on the inside. Hey, don't boost him up to be in the same position. Don't take out your anger out on him because he ain't put you there. You put yourself there. Be mad at yourself. Get your finger out your nose, little booger boy. What you want to do then? What you want to do then? And fix your face. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 2. He said that you're not being soon shaken in mind or troubled neither by ruach, nor by word, nor by letter, as from us, as the day of Mashiach is at hand. Let no man deceive you by any means, that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and the son man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. That falling away, you can find that in the book of Isaiah, in the 6th chapter, in the 9th verse. Because I'm going to tell you something. The falling away is not people not believing that they Israel no more. The falling away is people turning from the faith of Yahushua. You want to see a falling away? Go read John chapter 6 when the people stop walking with him. You understand? It's going to be a great forsaking in the midst of the land. That's the falling away. You can even look at that in the aspect as the great falling away and a small tent. When you seen the apostles forsake him when they were coming to kill him, because they were going to be persecuted for the gospel's sake, and they fled.
Get up,
He said, whoso oppose and exalt himself above all that is called Elohim, and that is worshipped, so that he is Elohim, sit in the temple of Elohim, showing himself that he is Elohim. Remember you not that when I was yet with you, I told you these things. Hold on, pause. You see what he said? He said, remember when I was with you? He said, what did he do? I told you about this. You see how that goes back to what Jeremiah did? I'm just telling you what you already should know. And now you know what withhold, that he might be revealed in his time. For the mystery of iniquity do already work. Only he who now will let until he be taken out of the way. And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the ruach of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. Even him whose coming is after the working of Hashatan, with all power and signs and lying wonders, and with all deceivableness of unrighteousness, and them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. This ain't no Christian church. Not by a long shot. Because they ain't working no lying signs and wonders. So when you look at that, when he said the mystery of iniquity is already working, and he says that it will now only he who now will let. So the only person who can work it is the individual who's supposed to work it. Who knows when the mystery of iniquity started? It started in the garden. The mystery of iniquity started in the garden. You know how the mystery of iniquity started in the garden? Because when she sat down and ate from that tree of knowledge of good and evil, she sat down and she ate information, or she learned his doctrine. You know what I'm saying? Because she said, this will make me wise. What else can make you wise but doctrine? You think some fruit gonna make you wise? And she said when she ate it, what happened? Her eyes were open. She was able to see something. So from that point on, the mystery of iniquity, because what is iniquity? It's lawlessness. What is it? It's the hidden work of lawlessness. The same way that you have the mystery of Elohim. Lawlessness did not start with the Christian church. If anybody believes that, they are simply foolish. Because they were lawless during the time of the flood, which was the mystery of iniquity. You can see the mystery of iniquity in the wilderness. You can see the mystery of iniquity with Absalom. You can see the mystery of iniquity with Jeroboam. You can see the mystery of iniquity with every wicked king in Yasharal. You can see the mystery of iniquity with Ahab. You can see the mystery of iniquity with Jezebel. And all of it. You can see the mystery of iniquity with Nebuchadnezzar. All of these things was to get you to that point of that man in Daniel 8 who said he going to deceive many with flatteries and come with peace, but destroy many. That same man who going to have intelligence with the people. And he going to teach the people his doctrine. Because it said he get his power from Hashatan. Christian church ain't got no power from the adversary. Revelation is clear that he gave this man power to do all of these things. And the things that he doing, he trying to imitate who? Elijah. Bringing fire down from heaven, he trying to imitate Elijah. Then you got to sit back and look at who giving Hashatan the power to even empower this man. Yah is. Because what he said in Job, he said you can do anything, just don't take his life. Who gave Satan the power to even do that to Job? You know why he did that? Because in Deuteronomy 13, he said if a man work a sign of one and it come to pass, if it come to pass, he said you better not believe him because you better do what I told you to do. So what that nigga bring fire down from heaven? What that mean to you? What did I tell you though? You know what I'm saying? And that's how a lot of people gonna get got, because ain't nobody from no Christian church bringing no fire down from no heaven, man. Ain't nobody from no Christian church finna get wounded in their head and resurrect from the dead. But that man is. And guess what you gonna do? You gonna be like, and that's why again I reiterated the point of you need to know why he resurrected from the dead and why you believe that. Because when this nigga do it, you gonna follow him. That's why I told y'all about, hey, if you ain't worshiping the beast, that means your name written in the book. How else can your name be written in the book unless you heard and believed the gospel? Your name can't be written in the book without the gospel. Your name ain't written in the book because you an Israelite. That's foolish. Your name ain't written in the book because you kept some laws. You had to believe. What did he tell that woman? Your faith has saved you. Your faith made you whole. So when you notice, this is so you can be able to not be deceived. Because I'm telling you, hey, y'all too loud. I'm feeling disrespected. I'm feeling disrespected. You feel disrespected too? That's two people feel disrespected. That means somebody Pampers finna get removed and be struck on their bare bottom. Gonna tan your butt. Yes. I know you're not talking, but you're talking now, so now you actually are talking. Ha ha! I mean, and he like to bite. Oh my. Say you biting at the daycare? They biting at the school? You hanging with biters, Eugene? Now I want y'all to think about this here too, right, before we conclude. Because I'm not trying to ridicule nobody or like this here, but I felt that was important when I heard that, like, that's wrong. Go ahead.
What you said about the tree?
They doctrines. Remember what he said? Why did he say he had to hide the tree of life? So if you take the words of Yahushua HaMashiach, what did he say would happen to you? He said, I'm the resurrection of the life. Whosoever believes this shall never taste death. See what I'm saying? So now you would have a sinful being with eternity. So and guess what it is when he hid in the tree of life? He hid Yahushua to the time it was to be revealed.
Oh, so the serpent was telling her to eat from it.
Eat this doctrine, eat my teachings. Because she could have chose to eat Yah's word. But instead she chose to eat his. You know what I'm saying? Because right in Ezekiel 34:29, it makes a statement that he said, I will plant a tree of renown. Do y'all know the definition of renown? Because the reason why hey, little Mike, I can hear your voice. Mari. Well, we thank you for letting us know. We'll make sure we get her a cake or something. Thank you. But I want y'all to sit back, right? Remember what he said in Matthew 15? He said that every tree that my heavenly Father hath not planted. Because see, what me and Akish were talking about, he was like, man, it said they were planted in the ground. But then when you go back to what Mashiach said, every tree that he hasn't planted. Now the word for ground there is Adamah, or ground. I didn't look up the word for planted, but I'm willing to wager in Genesis 2 that word is probably going to be established. So every tree that he establishes. Now, what do y'all know the definition of renown is in English? Y'all know the definition of renown in English? What you say? Proclaim? No, that's not.
And then like, I don't know. I guess for the person, it's more so like their esteem or something.
Their esteem is fame. But guess what that word is in Hebrew? It's Shem. Y'all know the meaning of Shem, right? So when he say, I'm going to give you a plant of my name. See, that tree of life was a plant of his name. That tree of knowledge of good and evil was not a plant of his name. Because his name was not in that tree. Because ain't no evil with Yah. Remember, there's no evil with him. He don't tempt man with evil. And he don't do no evil. You know what I'm saying? So when you see the difference, and like I say, that mystery of lawlessness is being worked. Like the mystery of Elohim. Who knows when the mystery of Elohim was complete to a certain extent? Because it's not completed in totality. But who knows when it was complete? No, he didn't. When Yahushua resurrected from the dead, the mystery of Elohim was done. To a certain extent.
Because everything was manifested.
Like we read before. And it's been manifested through preaching. Mystery of Elohim was complete. The only thing left to complete in the mystery of Elohim is his coming and what's going to happen at the end. But what's going to happen at the end, truth be told, is more so the mystery of iniquity. The mystery of iniquity don't end till the beast is revealed. That son of perdition is revealed. That's when the mystery of iniquity is complete.
And you say when you see them two witnesses, that's when you start.
That's when you already need to count down. This nigga finna take over. And you got dudes that try to come with that on some deep revelation. The two witnesses is Moses and Elijah. Nigga, he don't say who they is, cuz. And what good is it, what profit is it me if I know that? What did I gain from that? Now, when you see them two witnesses, you know 3.5 years, they going to be prophesying, and then this man going to kill them, and he taking over. You better believe what they talking about. They go back into heaven. You know what I'm saying? And then the beasts take over. So, and this is what I was telling Akish as well. And y'all should already remember this. In Babylon, did they know when they were going to leave Babylon? Yeah. They didn't know the day or the hour, though. But they knew in 70 years they was out. Same thing when it come with this here. You don't know the day and the hour, but you know when you finna dip. You know you dipping during tabernacle. You don't know what day is tabernacle, and you don't know what hour, but you know you're leaving. You know why you know you're leaving? Because your God already told you. It would be important if somebody knew the gospel, they could show you that, and you wouldn't be wondering. Nobody knows the day or the hour, and you sitting around looking stupid because you would know what signs to look for, and your soul would be prepared because you would be knowing it's almost over. You know what I'm saying? When I see these men standing up, this man say he God, I know it's over. I got 3.5 years. I need to hit it. Just like we were talking about before, I know people going to get killed. People going to be persecuted. You know what I'm saying? I know if these witnesses go to standing up, and these are 2 olive branches that Zechariah told you about in the 6th chapter, I know, hey, they're going to be preaching to God. You think they're going to be standing up, we the children of Israel, repent as an Israelite. No. No. They're going to be out there preaching the gospel. Because what did it say in Revelation 14? That Malachim coming with that everlasting gospel. That's why I'm telling you, I've been trying to really hammer that gospel is of utmost importance. Because when stuff go down, that's what's going to be preached. That's why I asked y'all that about your pastors. I was only focusing on the gospel because those men can't teach what they don't know. And I couldn't look at them and say, you sour because you not teaching something that you don't know. It's different if we can see that you know it, and then you can, now you conceal an eternal life. You're a wicked person. You know what I'm saying? But you can't conceal what you don't have. Like, come on, man. And that's just the first one that comes to my head. People don't know what a just man falling 7 times means. They don't know. They don't know that's the gospel. That's not flexing information. That's not flexing your wisdom. You're giving an expectation of resurrection of the dead, and that gives you a practical fortitude to be able to stand in the face of persecution because you know it's a reward. You know what I'm saying? That's what that's doing. But individuals look at that as, showing that the Tower of Babel is Yahusha is not flexing. That's Pentecost. That's showing how you are one body in him to be in heaven with him. That's hope and that's an expectation. You know what I'm saying? Like it's numerous other things that we can mention. These are the first things that just come to my mind. You know what I'm saying? Because there's too many places. Or matter of fact, we can end it with what we looked at today. You've seen in 2 different places that he said, I'll give you for a covenant of the people, and that I will let your prisoners go. That man was showing you how a man's death could bring forth life to those who lack it. That's the gospel. So that's important. So when a person is coming through persecuting people who believe in that and killing them, you won't have no fear because you have an earnest expectation of resurrection because you know who you believe and why you believe, and your flesh will rest in hope the same way that the son's flesh rests in hope. Now your approach would be drastically different. If you see a man standing out here and he get hit in the head and he died, and then you see 3 days later he get up, you're going to be like, oh man, that nigga's the devil. This is the first thing clicking in your head. You know that this is happening because of the power of the adversary. Now you got people like, who could go to war with the beast? You be like, oh my God, it's going down. But you're not going to be deceived because you already knew what was, and the main key point, because you know it's going to happen during Passover. So you look at this nigga. And you're going to be looking at all these people in the earth like, but that's Jesus. That's the one. See, he didn't come 2,000 years ago. He's here now. The world going to be in utter chaos, and he comes preaching peace.
Yeah, especially to people that don't believe, or all the people that teach that he ain't never come.
Come on, man. Come on, man. This is serious now. This is the mystery of lawlessness because that's what he's bringing. That's what he's bringing. Hidden lawlessness. He's not coming openly lawless. He's hot. Look here. Did Satan come openly lawless? Nebuchadnezzar didn't come openly lawless. They're not coming openly lawless. It's hidden until it gets you. Then you ensnared and entrapped and you die. Niggas can take it how they want to take it. They believe what I want them. That's why I say a lot of dudes, he ain't sent you. Because everything, at the end of the day, everything in the book is going to point you back to Elohim. But like my man said this morning, like Trav said this morning, everybody like to take current events and try to tie it to the script. Everything that happened now ain't necessarily spoke about in the script. Babylon means nothing in the grand scheme of things. Yeah, that's the place that they talk about being destroyed, but it's really not that important. It's only important because that's the place where stuff go down at the end. But in reality, it's not important. The Christian church is grossly irrelevant. You know why the Christian church is irrelevant? Because Yah doesn't look at a Christian church and a Hebrew congregation as separate. He look at sinners and non-sinners. That's all he sees. He see idolaters and worshipers of Yah. That's all he sees. That's all he sees. He doesn't say, look at that Buddha. He say, look at that idolater. You know what I mean? You can be in a Hebrew congregation, he gonna be like, look at them sinners. But see, everybody want to make it because that's your stuff. That's man's stuff. He don't do that. He doesn't do that. Period. He doesn't do that. If you unbelieving and faithless, that's all he sees. Like I told y'all the other day, if he's last night, if he's correcting you, if he's rebuking you, if he's chastising you, that means he see Yahusha because he doesn't see you. Yahusha may see you, but they say the Father only see the Son. All you got to do is take that back to Genesis. When you get chastised or you get rebuked or you get corrected, The Father does not see Nisha. He don't see Johnny. He don't see Stanley. He don't see Dee. He don't see Darius. He sees his son. That's all he sees. Because his eyes are too pure to look upon evil. So he ain't looking on you. That's why Yahushua looking on you. Because he ain't looking on you. So when he sent that word to go do that, he see his son. Because he chastened his son while they was hoping didn't spare for his crime. So he say, go chasten. Because he see his son, he don't see you. Because if he looked on you, you would perish. That's why no man can look on Elohim and live. Because his eyes can't look on no evil. See, people don't even know that that's in there for your protection. He can't look on you. He can't do it.
Sense though, like on Judgment Day when they do see him, they're gonna die.
Word. Huh? Say what now?
I said, but are you saying that makes sense? Because on Judgment Day, like when he opened up the books, the people that's not written.
But see, Elohim won't be there yet still. He won't even be there still. Yah himself will not be here until all the wicked are removed. That's why the new heaven and new earth got to come, because it's got to be purged. Because if he step on this earth, it's going to be consumed. It's unclean. It's defiled. Remember what Isaiah 24 told you? The earth, the inhabitants of the earth have defiled it. So this whole earth is unclean. So if Yah was to step his foot on it, it's consumed. So what he doing, that go back to what we read in 1 Corinthians 15 last night. When we was reading, what did Yahushua and Yasharal do to their enemies? They put their foot where? On their neck. Use them as their footstool. That's what we read in 1 Corinthians 15. That's why he say when he subdue everything and everything is all in all, then he turn around and give it back to his God. That's why he making a new heaven and a new earth. A lot of people overlook that. That's why. That's why seed time and harvest gonna stop. And sun, because y'all don't need no seed time and no harvest. He don't need no cold and no heat. And he don't need no night and no day. That's why it stops. Because now Yah is here. And once he's here, that's everlasting righteousness. And if you ain't been transformed to be like the Malachim and Shamahim, like he said in Matthew 22, then you're going to die. So you're going to scrap this heaven, scrap this earth, get all these wicked niggas out of here. You know what I'm saying? Get them all out of here. And then I'm going to come dwell with you. You know what I'm saying? And that's really when the mystery of Elohim is complete in its fullness. But the mystery of iniquity is complete when the beast and the false prophet are tossed in the lake of fire. That's why it's important to know the difference of the two. And the mystery of iniquity started in the garden. It started in the garden. And that's going back to, if you were a teacher of the word, then you ought to have known that. Remember what we read today when he said, aren't you a master in Yasharal? You're supposed to know this. That's how Yahushua was talking about. Nigga, you supposed to know what I'm talking about. How you don't know what I'm talking about? Now, I would be considered to be a douchebag if I walked around to these dudes and like, you teachers, you leaders in Israel, and you don't know this. How you talk like that? Well, let me see if Jesus told you that. Because nigga, if you say you a leader amongst our people, you a priest, you a teacher, you a prophet, and you don't know that, nigga, you lying. Period. Oh, a lot of people don't want to stand up against that school. But hallelujah for Yahushua. I don't want to get it. It's already 5:25. I appreciate everybody. I bless y'all out the house. Y'all name of Yahushua. 9 times out of 10, we'll